Hmm.
Only shinobi.
What's going on, chat? You guys hear me? Make sure this is even working. Turn it up. Can barely hear me. Okay, here we go. Yo, what's going on, boys? Let's get some people in here. You guys hear me now? Alright. I'm just gonna wait on some people to get in here, and then we'll start the stream, boys. So just give me a second. It's better. Okay, good. If you guys can hear me, okay, just let me know. It's better. Good. Get a little bit of echo. There we go. Appreciate that, Evan. Appreciate the 5, bro. Want to be the first? Oh no, good shit. We'll give this just a few more minutes, boys, and then we'll go ahead and start. We're basically just going to be reacting and analyzing the debate from last night. I'm going to be explaining a lot of the arguments, some of the rhetorical mistakes, how the debate like kind of got into this infinite loop a little bit, and we probably will skip past some of the like repetitive stuff where we're like kind of just going on tangents back and forth, same argument. So I will skip a little bit of that stuff. But for the most part, I'm going to be showing the entire debate. I'm going to be explaining like how I won like every major argument. And even if things weren't worded necessarily like 100%, I do believe a lot of the people are actually misunderstanding some of the points that I made. So I'm going to break those down and explain them in detail so it gets a little bit of an easier grasp of what I was actually saying and how it countered Swag, how Swag failed on like an evidential level and everything. So we're gonna get into it though. So yeah, let's break down how I slapped this wiki slop tuber named Swagkage. For some reason I can't even hear it. Hold on, boys. Technical difficulties.
Only shinobi who.
There we go.
What's up?
Fuck Christmas. Perfect.
What's.
All right. Okay, we'll skip the intro and we'll just get straight to the debate.
Like the other data books, but they're.
Okay.
2 hours, I think, is fine. Okay.
Shouldn't even take that long.
I don't think so either. So
yeah,
2
I
hours is
understand where
fine.
things coming from. Yeah, 2 hour limit is cool with me.
group chat as well.
Okay, so 2-hour time limit on the debate. Solid debate. Appreciate that, bro.
Okay. This comes from Rhino Show.
Let me announce this in Surfbound server too.
Oh, I gotta scroll through all my goddamn scans. My goddamn scans. Okay.
Had this translation for like 3 years, by the way. Okay, here's one. Let's skip the scan part.
And we don't know what it...
Okay.
I think Kakuzu definitively scales to beat Jun Jinchuriki. Obviously, he beat Yugito.
Well, no. He
yes.
didn't beat Yugito. He and Hidan took...
Let's rewind just a tiny bit.
I think it's...
mind you, so they have to like actually hold back killing.
Okay, let's see what my opening argument is.
Okay. Had this translation for like 3 years, by the way. Okay, here's one.
Akatsuki. Okay, so that's the one. All members of Akatsuki have high combat capabilities. Who in Turkey fall into their hands one by one.
Yeah, so like I said, their narrative purpose is to literally beat down Jinchuriki and take them alive, mind you. So they have to like actually hold back killing intent in order to whoop their ass. So they literally have to hold back killing intent.
To point out, just because I think it's funny that Hidan and Kakuzu are at the bottom here.
Okay, so he's already trying to do this like rhetorical like argument where he's like, oh yeah, well, you know, even though he's stated to be stronger than a Biju and Jinchuriki, him and Hidan are at like the bottom, right? So that means they're like lesser than the other people. But that's just an assumption. There's no actual backing to that. They could just be ordered at the bottom for any reason at all. It doesn't have to be specifically what he's saying. Also, he just ignores the all members of Akatsuki have high combat capability, even capable of beating Biju or Jinchuriki. So he ignores that statement as well.
I would just like to say that for everybody. They are at the bottom of this gathering of the Akatsuki. In the,
what do you mean?
Data book. If you want to put that on streams.
Oh, they're just at the bottom, you mean? Like,
Gonna-
locationally?
Yeah, they're
I mean, there's some that are
literally
not even on there, right? So at least it refers to Kakuzu.
Let's read this scan, boys. This scan goes unaddressed the entire debate, by the way. Hardened, skillful masters even stronger than in Jinchuriki. This scan alone does not get addressed. Like, this automatically proves that Kakuzu's on the level of a Jinchuriki. He doesn't even argue the statement's hyperbolic. He didn't say it was wrong. He just ignored it and, like, dodged it. And this is why I was saying he was being evasive during the debate as well.
You know, and also the other one only shows Kakuzu, so... I think Kakuzu definitively scales to Biju and Jinchuriki. Obviously, he beat Yugito.
Well, no. He didn't
yes.
beat Yugito. He and Hidan took Yugito back.
So do you think that Hidan actually significantly helped him?
It's impossible to say. That's the thing. It's not a feat for Kakuzu because we don't see what happened.
I think it's less likely.
What I can say is that it took them both a really, really, really long time to take her out, and we don't know what
That's
happened.
not true.
For example, something that could have happened.
What shows that it took a long time?
Ran out of time. Well, let me just say one thing that could have happened. For example, is she could have run out of time. Transform Biju state, which we know.
So he assumes that it could take a long time to beat them, right? Even though I've shown him scans that they're just directly stronger than Jinchuriki. So he just says that it could be a long time without any backing.
Something that can happen. You know, Naruto runs out of time linking with Kurama.
So zero substance to this argument already.
Her, like the fact that like Kakuzu can like no sell her attacks puts him above her. Like the fact that he can
no sell her.
He literally says after he fights her that no physical attack can harm him. He says that like when Kakashi takes one of his hearts, he's like, it's been a long time since this has happened. So like implying like Yugito didn't even take hearts from him. He's completely undamaged at the end of this fight. His cloak isn't even dirty. Like all the visual evidence, even though he was clearly struck by Yugito in her full perfect Jinchuriki avatar state, suggests that Kakuzu did tank her attacks. And specifically the fact that he says no physical attack can work on him does actually directly imply that Yugito can't hurt him.
So basically my claim is that he no-sold the attacks from Yugito that he was hit with on panel. That claim gets proven because Kakuzu says after the fight that no physical attack can harm him. This direct statement suggests that Kakuzu doesn't think that Yugito can harm him or knows that she can't because he already fought her. So he wouldn't be making this claim otherwise. And again, backed with the statements from the data book, stronger than a Jinchuriki. All Akatsuki members have high combat capability. Even Jinchuriki fall into their hands one by one. So these things are narrative arguments. These are direct statements and direct feats, catching the paw, no selling damage, and then saying he didn't take any damage. You know, this is all just proving that Kakuzu scales the Jinchuriki and Yugito. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry and basic. I'm surprised Swag didn't have very good arguments against this, but yeah, it's just, this is, I guess it's hard to deny. It's almost like objective that he has to scale the Jinchuriki in some way. So I do understand that he is gonna like falter on this part, especially.
Like Earth Armor or whatever, yeah, sure. But
He actually tanks Earth.
Also, even with Minato faster doesn't mean everything either. A was faster than Madara and got hit and still folded. Yeah, that's what I was arguing. I was arguing that he was a tank build and that he was able to, regardless if like he was faster than Minato or not, he could just tank all of Minato's attacks and eventually Minato will get hit by him in one shot. So
Attack and base though.
no, that's not shown.
Yeah, it is. The paw strike is shown.
The Earth Armor and the here, yeah, show me this.
Yeah, it's directly shown. Hold on.
Someone in chat thinks you're Australian.
Australian, no.
He's probably just overlapping us too.
Yeah.
So you know how his hands go black when he activates diamond armor, or his body does?
Yeah.
Here's the color.
No, I know.
So this is where we're gonna start arguing about base Kakuzu tanking Yugito's attacks.
No selled her attack right here, because he literally says
and then she here. Hold on, let me get the other scan from the
pushes him into the ground, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he sees this
and
attack.
then, like, right after this, Hidan says he's alone. You know, like he's a cornered rat. Like
Yep.
Kakuzu isn't there, able to help him.
That implies that he was hiding too, because like he's like hiding behind the rock. He said he's like a mouse in a cat and mouse game. Like he's basically
like,
implying that he
they're
has like
trying to follow up.
subservience to Yugito. He says that he's like probably too slow to hit her. That Kakuzu is usually the doer of the two, things like that. So yeah, basically he's sweating too. Like everything that Hidan does in that encounter suggests he's scared and too weak to even do anything to Yugito. And Kakuzu's like the only one that actually displayed any form of relativity to her, and she did it in base. He did it in base as well.
I think calling what he did a form of relativity.
Yep, so I just basically went over the old classic narrative argument that Hidan was scared of her, he was hiding, he calls this a cat and mouse chase, like she's the mouse, or he's the mouse, she's the cat, obviously. He says that he's probably too slow to hit her. Anytime someone says that Hidan helped in the fight with Kakuzu, all you have to do is make an argument from likelihood that Kakuzu's likely the one to have damaged her, which is true. Hidan's like the weakest member of the Akatsuki. This isn't like a fucking hard thing to even think about. Like, who do you think did most of the work against Yugito, Hidan or Kakuzu? It takes about 2 seconds to reasonably think in your head who's the stronger between them, right? So yeah, and Yugito or Kakuzu's the only one who was able to like actually on screen withstand attacks from her. So maybe Hidan got her blood later in the fight, but even if Hidan got her blood, it was because Kakuzu probably damaged Yugito. So Hidan's not the one who's likely to do it. I brought this up as a counter to Swag's point that Hidan was helping. And I also brought up how Kakuzu just is stated to be stronger than a Jinchuriki, so he has nothing against that still. He has not argued against that yet.
You don't think tanking a full attack from a transformed like Biju avatar in base is like a form of relativity?
Well, we can't prove that it was in base.
Yeah, I just did.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I showed it. You see that attack right there? That full avatar paw strike? You see how he's in base?
Yeah, I know, but there's a here, hold on, let me get
Hold on. Do you agree that he's not in base? Or that he is in base?
In that page, yeah.
Okay, so he did.
So he admits he's in base on that page, after first saying he wasn't in base.
Tank an attack in base, yes?
Well, no, he caught the paw.
In base, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you concede that point then. So yeah.
He was saying no, he wasn't in base, and then he said that he was in base. That's a concession. That's what's called a concession, Swag. It's when you accept something after first denying it. So let's go back and listen to what you
I
said.
just did.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. Form of relativity to her, and she did it in base. He did it in base as well.
I think calling what he did a form of relativity is a stretch.
You don't think tanking a full attack from a transformed like Biju avatar in base is like a form of relativity?
Well, we can't prove that it was in base.
Yeah, I just did.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I showed it.
We can't prove it's in base. We can't prove it's in base.
You see that attack right there? That full avatar paw strike? You see how he's in
Yeah,
base?
I know, but there's a here, hold on, let me get
Hold on. Do you agree that he's not in base? Or that he is in base?
In that page, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so he conceded.
Do you agree that he's not in base? Or that he is in base?
In that page, yeah.
Okay, so he did tank an attack in base, yes?
Well, no, he caught the paw.
In base, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, you hear him say yeah. There you go.
Point then. So yeah, he does scale to her in relativity. He tanks it.
Oh, activated the diamond armor. That's not the same thing.
He,
And
sorry.
after she, like actually pushed in the paw, activated the diamond armor. That's not the same thing.
He could have slowed down the attack.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, so what you're saying is he made the kinetic force come to like almost a halt.
Okay, so this is gonna come back to bite him in the ass later in the debate. But he says like Kakuzu initially stopped the attack, which would also be a form of relativity if you can block an attack and stop it, right? And then he said later she pushes him into the ground, like charges it up further
On the attack.
Yeah. Well,
Okay,
that-
so what
So
you're
he
saying-
he backtracks on his original claim that he was in base. So he tries to like, because he realized he conceded it. Then he switches his stance, comes back. He's like, okay, now I'm gonna argue that she's actually charging up like a secondary action to this attack. So like, there's the initial paw strike, and then there's like the charge up afterwards.
is he made the kinetic force come to like almost a halt.
She pushed harder and pressed him into the ground. Because what I think the purpose of this opening scene is here, right, is to show that these guys, because their whole gimmick is being immortal, being able to take a lot of punishment. They're the zombie duo, right? Is that you can throw an attack like this at Kakuzu, and because of his weird physiology, maybe not necessarily because of his hearts, but because him and Dawn have these like quasi-immortality or forms of quasi-immortality, these weird durability buffs, things like that. Even if they're up against somebody who's stronger than them, it doesn't matter.
Admits they just have good durability, basically. Like, says that like Kakuzu and Hedon have like really good durability. We're literally talking about if Kakuzu withstood the attack. So he's like, yeah, Kakuzu's physiology and like durability abilities grant him the ability to survive this attack. Like, okay, Swag, thank you for helping the argument.
So you agree that his durability, like at that point, is able to withstand an attack from Yugito in base, though? Like he's able to catch a paw strike.
But he's scared of like paper bombs and stuff.
Then he just like switches, like completely folds on that point, switches to like paper bombs.
Scared of paper bombs?
Yeah. Let me.
You mean when Minato got hurt by a paper bomb?
No.
He did. He literally got hurt by a paper bomb, so that's not really a good feat to bring up, is it?
We're not talking about Minato right now. We're talking about.
He said we're not talking about Minato right now. As soon as I bring up that Minato gets hurt by a paper bomb, he said we're not talking about Minato right now. But he switched off the durability point for Yugito to start talking about the paper bomb feat for Kakuzu. So then I switched to the paper bomb feat for Minato since it was comparable. And now all of a sudden we're not allowed to switch topics. What's happening, Swag?
Yeah. Let me.
You mean when Minato got hurt by a paper bomb?
Booty buffs, things like that. Even if they're up against somebody who's stronger than them, it doesn't matter.
So you agree that his durability, like at that point, is able to withstand an attack from Yugito in base, though? Like he's able to catch a paw strike.
He's scared of like paper bombs and stuff.
He's scared of paper bombs?
Yeah. Let me.
You mean when Minato got hurt by a paper bomb?
No.
He did. He literally got hurt by a paper bomb, so that's not really a good feat to bring up, is it?
We're not talking about Minato right now. We're talking about Kakuzu.
I'm not talking about
I'm saying
Minato.
it's corny to bring up a paper bomb when he tanks an attack from a BG.
Are harder hitting attacks than tailed beast attacks. We can talk about the Minato thing later. Right now, we're talking about Kakuzu.
Okay, we can talk about the Minato thing later. I still don't want to move off the point of like you think he slowed down her attack enough. That means he tanked the kinetic force of her initial attack now.
Sure, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, but
so
it's
he
not
did
full
tank an
power.
attack.
Okay, he said, sure, yeah. He admitted earlier that he was in base when he did it. Then he said that, sure, he tanks the attack. He's admitted at this point, already, this early into the debate, like 10 minutes in, he's already admitted, like, he tanked an attack in base. So he's going to try and backtrack on all this shit. And he's going to run around in circles on it back and forth for, like, a good 30, 40 minutes. So I'll tolerate some of it, but it really just kind of gets into the same arguments over and over about initial impact versus, like, the charge up or whatever, because he was trying to say he activated diamond armor, like, when he went into the ground or something. But yeah, this is just the coping mechanism to try and say that, like, Kakuzu doesn't scale to a Biju.
It's not a full power. She specifically lured them there with the intent. For one, just prove it's not full power. Go ahead and prove it's not full power.
After the fact that plants him into the ground.
Hold on, prove it's not full power.
Because the fact that she powers up the attack right afterwards.
How does she power it up?
But by hitting hard, I don't know, bro.
How do you know that it didn't? How do you know it wasn't just one smooth action? Though?
Maybe not. Maybe actually, that like I could be even less charitable to Kakuzu here and say that this is him trying and failing to stop the pawn. He just gets planted into the ground anyway.
He doesn't think it can hurt him even still. Like the fact that he's like, you've already hold on.
What's up, Spiraling?
You've already just admitted a second ago that he tanked the initial kinetic force of the attack.
No.
You did.
I didn't say that.
You did on camera. So not only did you admit that directly, you also are now like changing the position to say that she powered it up afterwards. So I want you to prove that she powered it up afterwards too.
Yeah, I can get that. It's either that or, like I said, if he just fails to stop.
I'm cooking him here. He's
Yeah,
just
he
getting
might have failed to
eviscerated.
stop the attack. But that doesn't show that he got hurt.
Diamond armor, man.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you said earlier that he took the initial kinetic force of the attack.
No,
You
I didn't
admitted
say
that.
that. I've been saying like the whole.
He literally just backtracks immediately. Like, this is what I'm saying. He's like, people call me disingenuous, but as soon as I catch him on something, he immediately backtracks every time. It's being very evasive. It's very disingenuous. It's basically just saying, I didn't say that. Like, you just said it, bro. You literally just said it. Like, you can't, like, deny it when you say it on camera. So I'm going to rewind. We're going to relook at what he said. Then we're going to say, clearly hear him say it. And then he's going to say he didn't say it. So that's how Swagkage rolls, bro.
Powered it up afterwards, too.
Yeah, I can get that. It's either that or, like I said, he just fails to stop the attack and
Yeah, he might have failed to stop the attack, but that doesn't show that he got hurt.
diamond armor, man.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you said earlier that he took the initial kinetic force of the attack.
No, I didn't
admitted
say that. I've been saying like the whole
I didn't say that.
chat thinks you're Australian.
Australia. Oh, so you know how his hands go black when he activates? Ease this
And then
attack.
like right after this, stretch.
You don't think tanking a full attack from a transformed like Bijou avatar in base is like a form of relativity?
Well, we can't prove that it was in base.
Yeah, I just did.
No,
You see
you
how-
didn't.
Yeah, I showed it. You see that attack right there? That full avatar paw strike? You see how he's in
Yeah,
base?
I know, but there's a here. Hold on, let me get.
Hold
that
on.
page.
Do you agree that he's not in base? Or that he is in base?
In that page, yeah.
Okay, so
All right, so he agrees on this page he's in base. Then we're going to talk about the kinetic force. He agrees that he withstood the initial kinetic force of it as well, because he was arguing that like she slowed down the attack or something, or she had like two actions to the attack. Noodles, who would win, Kakuzu or King Kong? Kakuzu would actually decimate King Kong. Unfortunately.
he tanks attacks from
Wait a minute, I gotta think about it. The King Kong from MonsterVerse. Kakuzu would still win. Yeah, he's faster, much faster.
base
No,
or like
he
strongest
slowed
state.
down the attack, and then after she, like actually pushed in the
And
ball,
similar in
she activated
strength,
diamond
too.
armor. That's not the same thing.
He could have slowed down the attack.
Putting any kind of like Titan up against Kakuzu is actually his bread and butter. Like that's what he's good at. So
Yeah. well,
Okay,
that
so
is
what you're
true.
saying
She
is he
slowed
made
down
the kinetic
attack, and
force
then
come to, like,
then
almost a halt?
She pushed harder and pressed him into the ground. Because what I think the purpose of this opening scene is here, right, is to show that these guys, because their whole gimmick is being immortal,
whole gimmick's being immortal.
things like that, even if they're forms of quasi-immortality, these weird durability buffs.
Weird durability buffs. So he said like because they have weird physiology, they have immortality. Because they have durability buffs, they're what?
Things like that, even if they're up against somebody who's stronger than them, it doesn't matter.
Even if they're up against somebody who's stronger than them, it doesn't matter. Well, why doesn't it matter in that case? Because they're tanking the attack, right? Like if they have durability buffs, immortality, like all these weird physiology things going on, that's making them increasingly hard to kill. Like they're like punching bags or whatever. That's what he's like trying to imply. The point that we're arguing right now is durability. We're literally talking about, is Kakuzu able to tank the attack from Yugito? So yeah, like he's literally admitting that the reason he's able to withstand Yugito is because of these aspects.
So you agree that his durability, like at that point, is able to
Sup,
withstand
sauce
the attack of
man?
his own base, though. Like he's
No,
able
not
to
You
paper
swag
bombs,
the
but
fuck
he's
out.
scared
That's
of
right.
paper bombs and stuff.
He's scared of paper bombs.
Yeah, he shifts to paper bombs. Doesn't want to shift to talking about Minato actually getting hurt by a paper bomb, not Kakuzu tanking one.
The attack right afterwards.
How does she power it up?
By hitting harder. I don't know, bro.
How do you know that it didn't? How do you know it wasn't just one smooth action though?
Maybe not. Maybe.
He's arguing she powered it up afterwards.
Actually, I could be even less charitable with Kakuzu here and say that this is him trying and failing to stop the pawn. He just gets planted into the ground anyway.
He doesn't think it can hurt him even still. Like the fact that he's like,
Because of the
you've already,
diamond
hold on, for one, you're backtracking. You've already just admitted a second ago that he tanked the initial kinetic force of the attack.
No.
You did.
I didn't say that.
You did on camera. So not only did you admit that directly,
I've been
you
saying
also
that
are now
for
like
so long.
changing the position to say that she powered it up afterwards. So I want you to prove that she powered it up afterwards too.
Yeah, I can get that. It's either that or, like I said, he just
That powered it up.
He got hurt.
diamond arm. This right here, like Kakuzu, this is one panel after we see Kakuzu, I guess, holding the paw, and then he's just immediately, caught in the center of like an explosion. Like, it slams down. He's pressed under the paw. He can't do anything to stop Yugito from going after Hidan immediately after.
Okay.
And after this,
Do you
we
agree
come
it's
down,
possible that he
talk
just
about
tanked this in base?
Like, it's possible that I have $1 billion, yeah.
Okay, well, are you like disputing that it's a possibility though?
Again, like, it's possible that I have $1 billion.
That same argument.
This funnily enough destroys all of his arguments that he's made in the debate so far, because nothing he's actually said had evidence behind it. It was just a possibility. So when I tried to do the same thing to him, I'm like, okay, do you agree this is like a possibility at least? Like he's already agreed in the debate that like it scales to Kakuzu's durability. And that he even tanked the initial force of it in base, and then he like tried to shift to, oh well, there was more force afterwards and things like that, right? But yeah, like, this is
People like your
embarrassing,
possibility
bro.
arguments from earlier, but that's just a self-defeating
Well,
claim.
no, I'm just saying. Well, the reason why
Like, go ahead.
the possibilities that I'm offering as counterexamples.
Yeah, everything he was arguing is a possibility. I bring up a possibility, suddenly it's not okay, and that's wrong. So that just self-defeats all of his possibility arguments from before.
To your narrative here, shouldn't be held to the same standard. Is I'm offering alternative explanations for something that you are trying.
That's
to
exactly what I did.
An absolute truth. No, you're trying to say Kakuzu is.
No, my current
Minato
argument is that
because
do you
he
agree
did
it's possible that he
withstand-
tanked it in
No,
base?
let me finish. He because he did withstand an attack from the two tails.
I do believe he did, yes.
That happened, and this could have happened instead.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so like what I was saying just now was that it's possible. I asked you, is it possible that he tanked this attack in base? And then
Like
you
I
said,
said,
and then
like
you said
it's
it's possible he has $1 billion. And then I said, well, that same argument applies to all of your other possibility claims. Like, if you're like saying that this possibility isn't really worth consideration, then I can say that all of your possibility arguments are equally not worth consideration, because this is
Well, no,
also
I'm not
just a
saying that it's
possible.
not worth
Hold on, I'm not done.
consideration.
I'm just saying this is a
possible.
possible interpretation of what could be happening here, because we see him in base. I think it's in base. What's funny is about your interpretation is there's no evidence for it. So I actually have the better possibility. You don't. And
No, but I don't
yeah,
have
you're
to prove
literally
that any of these
self-defeating your own
assertions
position about
are-
the
I don't have to
possibility
prove
arguments.
That any of these assertions are actually what happened, though.
Shit
I'm
on.
not saying it's exactly what happened. I'm saying
Shit
it's
on.
possible.
Absolutely shit on. Like, I mean, what did he even have for that? Nothing. The people that were watching this debate on the other side, I don't know what the hell they were watching half the time. That's all I'll say.
All right.
Yeah, sure, but I don't think that's worth anything.
Okay, well, I don't think any of your possibility arguments are worth anything, so that's all
Well, what I'm saying
self-defeating
is
now.
we don't see.
Well, that's not worth anything. That possibility is not worth anything. It's almost like I just addressed that. I literally had just said that, like, if you're saying that just a logical possibility isn't worth consideration, then all of your logical possibilities that you've presented earlier in the debate are also not worth consideration. Just because it's possible she powered up her attack afterwards doesn't mean that's what's shown in the text. So, and even if that were the case, he did tank the initial kinetic force regardless, which proves that he scales the Yugito.
Anything.
We see that
happens
he,
in the
like,
fight
grabs
other
the
than
ball
Kakuzu.
initially
Let
in
me
base.
I just let you finish talking.
Go ahead.
We see Kakuzu show up to fight Yugito, immediately get no diffed. Hidan starts sweating because he's worried. Then it cuts to the end of the fight where Yugito is, she's not dead, but she's been incapacitated as a result of Hidan's ritual. We see no signs that Kakuzu has contributed or anything.
Okay, so first thing, you said that he no-diffed her. What's the evidence that he no-diffed her? Or that she no-diffed him, I mean.
No, well, that she no-diff Kakuzu. I mean, she does just no-diff slam his face into the ground.
Yeah, but did it do any damage to him, provably?
It doesn't matter though. She just goes up to him and he can't.
No-diff, what does no-diff mean in context?
If he's this Biju level Biju stomper, right? Like he would just deflect that shit with his fucking hands, bro.
Or just the fact that she's a giant Biju and lifting strength comes into play. Like, that doesn't mean his durability didn't hold up to it, because the fact is, he still says that, like, no physical attack. Hold on, I'm not done. But okay, listen. I watched your D1 debate. I'm gonna try my best not to interrupt you. You're gonna try your best not to interrupt me. So I'll be chill, you be chill. Anyway, so like you're saying
that doesn't last long.
What does no diff mean in context, Swag?
Well, I don't mean that she no diff defeated Kakuzu. Right?
Okay, so what do you mean by that then?
No. I'm saying that she went up and just kind of made him look like a fraud. Immediately. I mean, this is the first thing we see.
Made him look like a fraud. So do you admit that that's like just what you're perceiving it as and not necessarily what's actually happening?
Well, okay, I'm going to repeat what I said earlier, right, to answer your question. I'm going to say what we see is Hidan and Kakuzu show up, Yugito transforms, they start looking like they're in a really bad position, it cuts forward, they've miraculously won through, this weird ritual shit that we're seeing that we don't have an explanation for yet. There's no signs of dominance. Kakuzu tries to physically stop the attack, is unable to. When again, if he felt like it was more appropriate to dodge, he probably would have.
I'm not saying he physically stopped the attack, by the way.
He got blitzed. Huh?
I'm not saying he physically stopped the attack. What I'm saying is that he tanked the
You're
attack.
saying that he no-sold it, despite the fact that he tries to catch with his hands here.
Well, no-selling just means you don't take damage. So if I'm saying he's no-selling it, that means he doesn't take damage. And my support for that is the statement where Kakuzu says physical attacks don't work on him after fighting Yugito. So that means he didn't take damage during the fight with Yugito.
Does he say that immediately after the fight, or is that something he says during the fight against Team?
During the fight against Kakashi and them. But it's like the fight that ensues right after this, yes.
This is something that he actually says after being forced to activate the Diamond Armor to not take damage from Choji.
What proves he's forced to activate it and he didn't do it out of precaution?
I guess nothing proves that he was forced.
Okay. Concedes it immediately, like loses this point immediately, because what he's saying, he said that he's forced to use Diamond Armor to block the attack, right? He says he's forced to use Diamond Armor to block Choji. Okay, we know that's not the case. We know he does. Just because someone chooses to block something doesn't mean it's going to necessarily damage them. Madara choosing to block the Shinobi Alliance doesn't necessarily mean that Madara thinks the Shinobi Alliance can damage him. It's a choice made for combat, for strategic purposes. It could be made for just out of instinct. There's other things that come into play besides, oh yeah, that's definitely going to hurt me. Like, no, you can just block something because you choose to block it. But yeah, he like immediately concedes this exact point. So
after being forced to activate the Diamond Armor to not take damage from Choji.
What proves he's forced to activate it and he didn't do it out of precaution?
I guess nothing proves that he was forced.
Okay, nothing proves that he's forced. Straight up concedes.
Okay, so you concede that point then.
No, nothing
You
proves that
did.
he was forced to activate it.
Conceding is agreeing to something after first denying it. You initially said he was forced, and you agreed he's not necessarily forced.
Called him out.
To activate it inherently, right? But hold on, let me finish.
I was cooking his ass.
I'm grabbing the page real quick.
Damn, this is. I watched a little bit of this last night, but I'm rewatching it now. It's. I mean, he has he picked up a point yet, chat? I don't think he's won a point yet.
Confident. Sorry, what did you say?
I said you don't have to grab the page. I already know what happens on that, so you just tell me.
Yeah, I know, but I still want to grab the page just to look at it. Post. Oh well, I guess 6 isn't doing what he did during the D1 debate, so this isn't as important.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be that like harping on scans too much. Trust me. So like the point is that like you said that it was initially what was it that he was forced to do it, and now I'm saying that he's not inherently forced to do it, and then you agree that he's not inherently forced.
He was forced to do it, yes, because he did do it.
Okay, just because someone chooses to block, does that mean that they're forced to block?
I think that taking that precaution against Choji and not a tailed beast is really weird and just lends credence to the idea that he used Diamond Armor to protect himself against the Yugito attack.
Okay, and that's not what I asked you.
I mean, we're talking about Kakuzu's durability right now.
No, that's not what we're talking about right now. What's the specific claim we're talking about right now?
The Choji thing
No,
as a counterexample
the specific claim. Oh, listen, you're trying to shift the claim. That's what I'm saying. What we're on right this moment, this specific claim, is whether or not if you choose to block something, are you forced to do it? That's what I asked you.
Well, the reason I'm highlighting the Choji thing, like I said, is because it acts as a counterexample.
You're being evasive towards this question, though.
I'm not being evasive. Okay, so let me
Yeah, you are.
walk you through how I got to this point. What happened was you brought up the Yugito thing. We spent a while going back and forth about whether or not he actually tanked it. Don't see him tank it. There's plenty of reason to suspect that he may have used Diamond Armor here. I offer a situation where he uses Diamond Armor against somebody who's weaker.
It says he's forced to use Diamond Armor specifically.
Yes.
Okay, and then I questioned that, right? And then I said,
that if he used
hold on, I questioned
Diamond
that.
Armor against Choji, it's very, very likely that he used Diamond Armor against Yugito.
Okay, I'm not arguing about that right now. My question is whether or not if someone chooses to block something, are they forced to block it? Is that the implication there? You're saying because he chose to use Diamond Armor, he was forced to use Diamond Armor, right?
I already amended that to likely forced to block it, yeah.
Okay, likely forced to block it. So you think that if someone chooses to block something, they're likely forced to block it?
Yeah.
Okay, so do you think Madara choosing to block the Shinobi Alliance means he's likely forced to block it because it'll do damage to them?
Which example are you talking about right
You know what I'm talking about when he's going through the Alliance, like just blocking them all? Choosing to block. Like, there's this principle in real life fighting, right? It's like called catch and countering. So like you can throw a punch at me.
Like Madara like parrying people doesn't cause him to be immobilized the way that Kakuzu using the Diamond Armor does.
Kakuzu doesn't get immobilized.
Yeah, he does. It slows him down.
No, what's said is the hardened body part can't move, but he still can move. Like he can harden his hands and then move the rest of his body. He's not immobilized. Like he can move his elbows and his shoulders and still stick his hands where like remember when he punches down the ceiling gate with his Diamond Armor?
Yeah. Yeah, but he hardened his whole body against Choji.
Yeah, you're saying he hardened his whole body. That's fine. You can say he hardened his whole body, but he doesn't know how strong Choji is.
Probably not as strong as a tailed beast.
He fights the Ghetto statue in the War Arc, which has 7 tailed beasts inside of it.
Yeah,
He's stated to be like
about War Arc Choji, though.
I know we're not, but I'm just saying like he could just have like an absurd level of chakra, like in the same way that like Pain got body slammed by him. You know, he is like a very strong fighter. That's one thing Choji's always had is superb strength. So
you're saying that Choji's human boulder.
I'm not saying it's inherently BG level. I'm just saying it's possible that it's stronger than you think. So that's why he might have sensed something in Choji. It's possible. It might just be that he doesn't know how strong he's doing it, so he's doing it out of precaution. It doesn't have to be that like, you know, Kakuzu's fought BG before.
This point is kind of just, you know, not really that even important. But the point that I'm making is simply that, yeah, you don't have to block something. You know, you just don't have to block something because you think it'll damage you. You can block something out of precaution because you don't know how strong it is. If someone new you meet, you know, you're thinking about fighting them, you know, you're probably going to be a little bit touch and go with it because you're not for sure how good they are at fighting, right? It's kind of the same principle. Like, Kakuzu is a smart fighter. He's pragmatic. Of course, he would block something out of precaution. That's just something he would do. That's why he felt the need to block the paper bomb. You know, you can just block something out of precaution because you don't want any like minor damage to happen to you, things like that. Yeah, that's it.
before, right? So he probably knows how strong Biju are. Regardless, the point is that like he's never fought Choji before, so you can easily argue that he's blocking not just because he thinks it'll damage him, but just because
We can
he
debate
doesn't
it if
know
you
how
want,
strong
JoJo.
Choji is, and he's a very tactful and smart fighter, and he's doing it out of precaution. To say that someone who is choosing to block is forced to block is an assumption. Like you can't actually justify that just because Madara chooses to parry or chooses to block
Not
someone with a new
Swag would never
doesn't
survive the
inherently mean that
2016
people will
philosophy
damage him
tube.
or
Yeah,
likely
facts.
damage him, like you were claiming. It only means that they're choosing to block. Like in real life fighting, if I decide to block and counter somebody, that's an effective way of fighting. That doesn't mean I think the attack was necessarily going to hurt me. I just think it gets my hand.
Never addresses this argument,
There's also
by the way.
circumstantial evidence that
Like
like
what?
lends credence to the idea, like
Completely ignores that argument, so he loses that point. Burden of rejoinder.
Before Kakuzu says the physical attacks are worthless against him line. So this implies that if he didn't use the diamond armor, he would have been hurt by Choji. He also has the the thing where he implies that he's going to get hurt by a paper bomb if he doesn't use the diamond armor, stuff like that.
I think he's just saying like, oh yeah, I got diamond armor in the back pocket, like I can use that anytime, but that doesn't mean that it'll affect his base either.
I think that is a crazy assumption to make.
I think it's an assumption to say that it would have affected his base.
No, I mean,
like I said, he could just be doing it out of precaution. Like, oh, I don't know how strong this guy is. Let me activate diamond armor. Like he doesn't have to. He doesn't have to like think on the spot that this is definitely gonna hurt.
Swag's losing this point as well.
Instead, that like, oh, I better do this out of precaution.
I mean, because like him using the diamond armor and slowing himself down when Hidan's already bound by the shadow possession jutsu, when he could have jumped out of the way or like thrown Choji away, if he's supposedly Biju level strength or whatever, and gone over to Shikamaru, done whatever he needed to do to save the shadow possession jutsu.
Supposedly Biju level. By the way, he still has never countered the data book scans that I presented at the very beginning of the debate and cited to him. So he can say they're supposedly Biju level all he wants. I've already proven they are.
I mean, none of the characters you've presented so far have even provably scaled Kakuzu. Like, you haven't scaled Choji.
No, I think D1 did better because Swag lost every point. D1 at least won a couple points.
Kakuzu. So you can say, like, oh, well, he's not provably Biju. You can say he's not provably Biju level. But, like, if you look at the first scan I sent in this chat, it literally says hardened, skillful masters even stronger than Jinchuriki and Kakuzu's on the page. We're not talking about the
data book right now. We're talking about the Yugi token.
See, dodges it again. Like, he hasn't talked, like, I recite the data book to him. And he said, we're not talking about the data book. We're not talking about the data book because he wants to avoid the data book because he knows he doesn't have an answer to it. It's just direct evidence. It's a direct statement. It's like pretty much impossible to deny without just ratting. So yeah, he was avoiding it at all costs. He's being evasive. He's being disingenuous. All the things that he accuses me of, he's actually committing himself. So.
Well, I was bringing up how, like, you're bringing up these other characters as if it's, like, some kind of anti-feat for Kakuzu, as if he didn't literally beat the shit out of Choji, like, violate him. Like, he literally violated Choji when he fought him, in base, by the way. So I don't really think Choji's a good example.
Destroyed him in base.
Your assertion that he no-sold this tailed beast attack. Okay.
He ignores the whole, like, Kakuzu destroyed Choji in base argument, just completely sidesteps that. Doesn't even want to discuss it, shift off of it, being evasive again, switching points again.
I think Choji's a good example to use.
That your assertion that he no-sold this tailed beast attack, okay, in base.
We have a warrior is much better than Swag.
Against all sorts of attacks.
I just said he no-sold him in the beginning.
As a typical tailed beast attack makes me think that we can comfortably say that he used diamond armor to protect himself.
It's an assumption. We don't know because, like I said, he already knows how strong Biju are. He's fought Biju before, and he's already like an Akatsuki level fighter, so he probably already reconciles that he can handle a Biju, but he doesn't know how strong Choji is, so he can do it out of precaution. Like I've already kind of.
Damn. You see how I can spit that off the top of the dome? Like he knows how strong a Biju is. He doesn't know how strong Choji is, so he can reconcile. I'm giving an alternate interpretation. That's what's called an alternate interpretation, boys. And it's an alternate possibility that defeats Swag's possibility. Not necessarily in the sense that either one is more verifiable than the other, but it defeats it in the sense that it equals it out. So because of that, his argument that Kakuzu probably used diamond armor doesn't go through, because I've now demonstrated an equal possibility that doesn't require that to happen.
Bypass this argument.
Sorry, what did you say? I was just reading the text. My fault.
All I said was that like he doesn't.
Do I think I beat Swag all 3 times? Yeah, he should be disqualified in the first debate for cheating with 6. Second debate, yeah, I definitely destroyed him. He lost the Susanoo point, like, really fucking bad, and that was, like, a win condition. He dropped Shinra Tensei in the second debate. He got bodied on Chibaku Tensei, in multiple different ways. So, yeah, he definitely lost the second debate really badly. I don't think he had effective counters to the Tsukiyomi argument either. I think he did well against Amaterasu, and people harp on, like, the recoil point so much, but it honestly meant nothing for the overall grand scheme of the debate. It didn't scale pain anywhere. Yeah, he just didn't have shit. He didn't have shit.
how strong Choji is. He probably does have an idea of how strong
Yu
Yugito
versus
is.
Apollo was good.
Therefore, you know, he doesn't have to necessarily activate Diamond Armor to block Yugito's attack. He probably thinks he can just tank it in base. The fact that he doesn't activate Diamond Armor on the initial hit, by the way, that's when the impact happens, is on the initial hit, so he does tank the impact in base at least. So like
here's when I advance my argument from which I did make this argument earlier when with like he took the initial attack, and then because he was saying that like he charged it up afterwards, so I was like, well, he at least took the initial, like slowed it down to a halt kinetic force of that. But now I'm like restating that and bringing it back up. So basically all I'm arguing is that he took the initial impact, and this is like one of Swag's like worst analogies I've ever seen, or like worst points in general. It might be the worst point of the debate. This car analogy that's coming up is so fucking bad.
Is going into him from the strike, and we've seen this strike like do damage to other people. So for instance, like
I need to make a lore accurate Toby Rama video. Actually, I'm gonna fucking hop on that shit.
She's able to combo Madara. She's able to hit Casey and Naruto. Things like this, right? She's very strong in general. She's said to have like the best control of her tailed beast alongside Killer Bee, so she might even be the second strongest Jinchuriki among all of them.
Might even be the second. You see how I say might be? I'm not like confirming it. All I'm saying is that like, you know, she's stated to have really good control of her Biju, you know. She might be stronger than the rest. Swag's gonna claim here in a second that like I'm outliering Yugito from the rest of the Biju and like making her like way stronger than the rest of the Biju. But if you actually listen to how I word it, I don't do anything like that. So he was completely strawmanning me. But you'll see that in just a second.
So the fact that he is able to like withstand the initial impact even in base is impressive.
Well, I mean, again, we don't know if this is the initial impact or if this is part of the attack coming down and then him activating Diamond.
What do you think the initial impact is?
Listen to what Swag says. Like, this is so dog shit. This is like the worst. Like, Swag's supposed to be like a rhetorical YouTuber, but this is like, this is so bad.
Well, I mean, again, we don't know if this is the initial impact or if this is part of the attack coming down. And
we don't know if this is the initial impact or if this is part of the attack that's coming down after. Okay, so the initial impact is the first attack, the first part of the attack. He knows exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. He's just like saying, nuh-uh, like...
Then him activating Diamond.
What do you think the initial impact is?
It could, for example, be the explosion with the slam.
That's not the initial...
He knows there's an initial impact, and then the part afterwards. The part afterwards he's claiming is the slam, and then I ask him what the initial impact is, and he says the slam. Like the push, the part where he gets pushed into the concrete. Oh my god, bro. Re-listening to this is actually kind of funny, bro. I didn't think it was this fucking bad. Like, in hindsight, I smacked the shit out of him, but like, I can't even say like I beat somebody good on this, because he is like actually like debating like straight ass cheeks right now. But it's all right. We'll keep listening.
Impact though, is it? You said earlier that she
him activating Diamond.
What do you think the initial impact is?
It could, for example, be the explosion with the slam.
That's not the initial impact though, is it? You said earlier that she charged up something afterwards and like put weight down on him, right?
So okay, let me give like an example.
The initial impact.
No.
Let's be real though. Let's be real. The initial impact is when it first makes contact.
No. Hold on. I have a perfect analogy for this. Seriously. Okay. So let's say, there's a story, right, where I'm getting hit by a car or you're getting hit by a car, and you have somebody.
Let's say there's a story where I get hit by a car.
They draw a dramatized version of it, like a manga. And there's one.
Let's make a drama-sized version of it like a manga. What the fuck is he talking about? What the fuck is he on? Let's write a story, make a drama-sized version of it like a manga. What the fuck? If you're having to fucking waffle like this in a debate, bro, like, oh my god.
Or you're getting hit by a car. There's a story, right, where I'm getting hit by a car or you're getting hit by a car, and you have somebody draw a dramatized version of it like a manga. And there's one panel of you putting your hands up in front of the car, and you see a panel of the car hitting your hands, and then the immediate next page is you just getting run over and fucking flung away into the street, mangled. Like, I guess technically, you know, the initial impact is kind of shown when the car hits your hands, but that's not really representative of what is actually happening, because I mean, even based off of, you know, what you sent, it sounds like, or it looks like there are motion sounds.
So he just concedes it like mid analogy, like
as the
made no fucking sense.
The immediate very next panel is the
This
explosion.
is the worst analogy of all time.
No, it's not. I don't think so. I think it's a pretty good analogy.
It's not. So like all the initial impact is literally when you first get hit by the car, right? That's when the initial impact happens. When Kakuzu first gets hit by the car, quote unquote, in context, that's when Yugito's Paw Strike first hits him. And another thing too, you're not considering, Yugito's probably a lot fucking faster than Choji. So what if he didn't have time to activate Diamond Armor? That's valid, right?
So you're saying
Remember how he had to put his hands together and goes,
Kakuzu,
"Don't
if he can
move"?
perceive an incoming attack, might not be able to activate Diamond Armor in time to stop it.
Hold on, say that again.
I said, so you're saying that Kakuzu, even if he can perceive an incoming attack, if the other person is sufficiently faster than him, he might not be able to activate Diamond Armor in time.
Yeah, he might not be able to activate it in time.
Because I still maintain that he activated the Diamond Armor here, just based on the other things that he's
He completely dodged the point, so he drops that.
convinced will do damage to.
Okay, but you
He literally just dropped another point. Again, Swag has not won a point yet. He's been getting like obliterated for
Yeah,
40 minutes in now.
like, everything you're doing is trying to like make inferences about what happened.
If you want to use that as a springboard to talk about speed, I mean, you
We can talk about speed here in a minute. I'm not done with AP though.
You do got to address the fact that he got hit twice by base Naruto, man.
He wasn't based Naruto. He had 9-tailed chakra for one, but we're not gonna move on from this point yet. I'm gonna drag you right back because we're not done with AP.
Yeah, that's fine,
So
whatever.
the initial impact, right, is when you initially get hit. Yes.
All right, I'm gonna skip all this because I've already thoroughly debunked them. This is where it gets a little repetitive.
Some of them like fight the BG solo. I totally think suck out. Just say yes or no to that.
Is you're not talking about a given.
Yeah, that's a lot of the
BG
mindless
themselves are very
Jinchuriki
relative, and the
scaling.
Jinchuriki-
I do beat him on this point, but I don't care.
About tuning exams Gara. Now I'm not going to say that, but I think we can all
that happened, like that she actually did some damage to him. You just went, oh, that's just possible. It's just mean that's actually happening, or that's a possibility worth considering. What I've done.
Yeah, we're going over arguments again.
that's what I'm saying, right?
Sure, you're saying that, but it's not backed by evidence.
That's all I'm saying that we agree on. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm saying that Kakuzu tanked the initial impact in base. So even if you want to say like whatever happened afterwards, she pushed him in the ground, then he used Diamond Armor, even though there's no evidence of that, and that's like purely speculation. Like I don't even think he necessarily had the time to activate it, considering like Yugito is like considered a particularly fast Jinchuriki. So listen, I'm not done. So like I said, I don't think he necessarily had the time to do that even. Like you were trying to like bring it, like your only argument for why he probably activated it was because he used it against Choji. He had plenty of time to do it against slow fat ass Choji, right? That doesn't mean he's gonna have time to do it against the fast, like one of the notoriously fastest Jinchuriki in general. So yeah, I don't think you actually substantiated any like
Where he bodied him on that point. He already dropped that point earlier, so again, kind of repetitive.
And claimed it to be like likely what happened. So I think I've thoroughly shit on that now. And also your argument earlier about like, oh well, it's possible that I have $1 billion. That also shits on your argument because even if it's possible,
This
that, like,
is basically just a
Kakuzu's
recap of the whole like
Diamond
AP
Armor,
point. He
you
got
said
like
that
absolutely
possibilities are-
annihilated on Kakuzu's AP.
But also like
I think, for example, him being afraid of taking damage from a paper bomb, him using the Diamond Armor against an incoming Choji when he could use that time to get out of the way.
Just repeat argument again.
Possession, that Shikamaru by himself showed up and put both of them in. It just like speaks against the possibility that he was able to just come up here and no sell an attack from Yugito. Like I said, I mean, like he and Hidan both go up there. It looks really bad for them right away. Like Hidan's, cowering. Kakuzu's nowhere in sight to help him out. Then we cut forward to the end. We don't see any real damage from any actual attacks that either of them have launched. Hidan uses his Josh. It's not Yugito level or whatever. I think by citing her as one of the strongest Jinchuriki, you accidentally fucked up your own argument.
yeah, I don't think you actually know what you're talking about.
The scan of them being
Yeah,
stronger.
you definitely don't know what you're talking about because not only did I cite evidence that he's literally stated to be stronger than a Jinchuriki, you claimed that Yugito was like an outlier or something. Then I cited the
I didn't
example.
claim that. I said that that's what you were saying. I said that.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say she was an outlier. I said she could be marginally stronger. Do you know what marginal means?
I asked you like four.
Bro, Ratatouille, is that how you appeal to the audience? Because I'm like shitting on you.
No, whatever, bro. Keep
Yeah.
going.
Anyway, so you said that I like created this like falsely. You said falsely that I created this benchmark that Yugito's like an outlier from the rest of the Jinchuriki. No, all I said was that she could be marginally better at controlling her Biju, but the Biju themselves all have relative Biju bombs. The Biju bomb is stated to be their strongest and ultimate technique. So if their Biju bomb and their literal strongest attack are all relative in size, they all have relative energy and destructive capacity. That does suggest all the Biju are fairly relative. So if Kakuzu is one of these,
This is true, by the way. Something I didn't mention though. You only can go into your Biju transformation and do the Biju transformation if you're a perfect Jinchuriki. So I'm wondering if like all of the Jinchuriki when they're Edos, like it's also stated like in order to access the deeper psychic plane, you have to be a perfect Jinchuriki as well, and all the Jinchuriki are in there. So I actually do wonder if every Jinchuriki is a perfect Jinchuriki at that time. Like, they all, like, kind of mutually agree to become friends or something. Which would make sense, because Naruto's, like, the one that's supposed to bring everyone together. But, yeah. Alright, you were doing so well until you lost it for yourself after moving from AP. You won the Kakuzu durability point, but it was also a symbolic representation of the debate, not the actual debate. GG's. Why do you do these little side digs, saying you're shitting on him or insulting him? Because I specifically did that because he likes to do this in every debate, where like he basically appeals to the chat, and he'll like say, oh, you don't really think that, or like he'll be like, this argument's so ass, like this is terrible, wow, ratatouille, stuff like that, basically, because he can't address it. So instead of like actually arguing against it, he just says the argument's like bad. So I'm calling him out for like an actual reason there, because like that's not a counter argument, that's just trying to like win over the audience. So it's a rhetorical strategy on his part, but it's also disingenuous because he doesn't actually have a counter argument.
Skillful masters that's even stronger than a Jinchuriki, then the text is outright telling us he's stronger than Yugito. So I don't think I'm creating some like weird outlier. I can easily say that Yugito's just marginally better than the other Jinchuriki, and that be it. So you're trying to like...
Yep, I basically completely debunk his benchmark point with this argument too.
Force this position on me that I'm like totally outliering her from the rest of the Biju, and that's just not what's happening. I'm not...
I was being dense, brother. He's lying here. Like, he's literally lying. So let's stop trolling now.
Saying she's like significantly stronger than the other Biju. All I said is...
He was trying to say that I said that Yugito was significantly stronger, but I showed earlier in the debate, I said she might be stronger. Might. I didn't say she was significantly stronger. Like, literally even questioned if she was stronger. And then I argued that they were actually relative and said that she could just be marginally better. I said that. So it's on him for strawmanning and lying about it. That's not me being dense. That's him not being able to track the argument and failing to do so, and then like saying it's like a rat argument when in actuality he's the one ratting. He's the one lying about the fucking claim. So that's not me being dense, bro.
That she is stronger than the other Biju or she's better at controlling them specifically. So yeah, I do think she could be marginally stronger. I don't think it has to be to any like quantifiable extent or like major extent, especially considering like the other Biju can like match her overall destructive capacity.
Yep.
In fact, it just might
shit on this point.
Using certain techniques and stuff like that. We don't really know. All I know is that I've literally shown a statement that she's stronger than Biju and Jinchuriki. So yeah, I definitely.
I still win the ending argument though. That's what y'all don't understand. It flew over a lot of people's heads, and that's fine. But like, it's mostly just because you guys have bias towards Swag, to be honest. It's pretty obvious that I won the ending points. Like, if you actually look at what Swag's evidence for why the mental world scales to the physical world was, it was just a claim that it was self-evident, which is already circular and just an argument from ignorance. And it was also like him saying that they use chakra in the real world, which I made a distinction between real world properties and mental world properties, such as like physical stats. There's no physical stats in the mental world, and he never had an argument against that. But you'll see, once I get to that part, I don't know if I'll be able to get to it today. I might have to do a second stream talking about this. But yeah, just because it's fucking 2-hour debate, so we might only be able to hit an hour of it today. But yeah, like, in essence, like, he definitely didn't even win the last point. So like the whole like people that were saying like, oh, he won the Ninetales point, he actually lost the Kushina point too, if you paid attention. He really didn't win any major argument during this debate. I'm not even saying that to be cocky, just genuinely on an argumentative level he lost. And obviously the way I came off to people might be unlikable, but I am clearly the better debater, so I don't really care. I'm just debating him. Like, I'm not trying to appeal to his hive mind or popularity contest audience. I don't really care, to be honest. So
like, like generally people put him, et cetera, right? Is consistent with the rest of the text, and you can't find any examples.
I agree. I miss the days of debaters winning being decided based on who was more skilled.
So I have to respond to it. So he made the point that Naruto hit him with a Rasen Shuriken twice, and Minato is still used like as a benchmark like way later on in the series. So there's a couple of problems.
Agreed.
Firstly, Minato's not being used as a benchmark. Secondly, you know what's funny about that attack? Hold on real quick. No, I'm not gonna move. I'll explain that in a minute. You know what's funny about the Rasen Shuriken that you mentioned? That how he like hit Kakuzu. It's kind of funny that it's directly stated to surpass Minato.
I literally concluded at the end, bro. I gave my conclusion when they told us to go to conclusions, and then I let him conclude. Like, that was how it was supposed to go. Like, I responded, said everything I wanted to say. I concluded my portion. Then I talked a little bit of shit left. Then he was able to give his conclusion. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you might not like that, and this is what I'm saying. Like, you already have, like, you don't like the way I presented myself, but it's not the same as, oh, he won the argument. Because there is no magical debate rule. Whatever, Wobuff.
It's almost like Naruto had to learn the jutsu.
You're lying.
It's almost like Naruto had to learn
It's
the
a
jutsu
crybaby
that was
swag gun.
stronger than Minato to damage Kakuzu. So, if we're talking about benchmarks, this is the time that Naruto surpassed the fourth Hokage, buddy.
This is so ass.
Oh, it's so ass, but it's like a direct narrative point that...
Look at this. This is like him directly lying. This is like one of the worst points. This is the worst point of the debate. I think this is even worse than the car analogy, because at least with the car analogy, he's at least just saying something funny. Like, you know, it's not really like, you can tell it's like not accurate, so it's like funny. But with this one, he's like directly denying a statement that's said on panel multiple times. So it's very, very contextually clear what they're trying to say here, and he is denying it baselessly. So this is the Ratatouille argument that he likes to say. This is the rat shit. So this is him being dishonest and disengaging from the Rasen Shuriken. But you'll see. Let's listen to what he says.
Being used as a narrative benchmark like this.
Okay, so he made a new point there, so I have to respond to it. So he made the point that Naruto hit him with the Rasen Shuriken twice, and Minato still used like as a benchmark like way later on in the series. So there's a couple of problems with that. Firstly, Minato's not being used as a benchmark. Secondly, you know what's funny about that attack? You know what's hold on real quick. No, I'm not gonna move. I'll explain that in a minute. You know what's funny about the Rasen Shuriken that you mentioned? That how he like hit Kakuzu? It's kind of funny that it's directly stated to surpass Minato. It's almost like Naruto had to learn a jutsu. It's almost like Naruto had to learn a jutsu that was even stronger than Minato to damage Kakuzu. So if we're talking about benchmarks, this is the time that Naruto surpassed the fourth Hokage, buddy.
This is so ass.
Oh, it's so ass, but it's like a direct narrative point that Kakashi and Naruto restate multiple times. Like just because you ignore the narrative.
It's so ass. It's so ass. It's so ass. No actual counter to what I'm saying though. You see how, like, apparently just saying this argument's ass, and then the chat's, like, going crazy. They're like, oh, this is a rat argument. This is so bad. And it's, like, directly stated on fucking panel, dumbasses. Like, it's, like, right there, written in front of your fucking face. It's the direct interpretation of the scan. It transcends the fourth Hokage. Crazy, I know. It's almost like Minato failed to create the Rasen Shuriken.
I mean, I will.
Noodles, come on,
Noodles, come
what
on.
everybody is talking about there.
Noodles, come on.
Combine an element with the Rasengan, which Minato was.
Yeah, but he's also talking about strength. He says you have a jutsu that it surpassed the fourth Hokage.
No, all that means.
So Minato got surpassed.
In the sense that Naruto was able to create a jutsu that Minato wasn't able to.
A stronger jutsu too.
Surpassed by Naruto because after.
Read to me that panel with Naruto.
After Naruto whips out the Rasen Shuriken, you know, Kakashi thinks back to the comparison, and here, one sec, let me actually get the chat.
Okay, they say this multiple times, by the way, during this arc. This, like, the entire narrative purpose of Naruto learning the Rasen Shuriken is to learn a jutsu that has quite literally surpassed the fourth Hokage. He says, you said I'm the only shinobi who will surpass the fourth Hokage, and you meant what you said. And then the second page, after Naruto hits him with the Rasen Shuriken, he says, Naruto has become truly strong. Jutsu that were beyond even the fourth Hokage are well within his command. So I think this establishes that Naruto is hitting Kakuzu with an attack that is completely beyond Minato's arsenal. This is not something that Minato's going to be able to do. Like, the fact is, this is a Durag attack that's actually attacking Kakuzu's chakra network. It bypasses the one attribute that Kakuzu is best at, which is durability. So if you're going out of your way to use an attack that is straight Duranegging Kakuzu, yeah, that's the hard counter to Kakuzu. And this is explicitly not within Minato's arsenal, and this is explicitly beyond Minato. So this is not something...
He's getting, like, actually shit on this point, too. Like, how he tried to, like, scale base Naruto to Kakuzu and saying that's why Minato can beat him. This is, like, an embarrassing point. Like, he's getting destroyed on this.
Minato can just fucking do.
No, it's only beyond Minato in the sense that Naruto is able to take Minato's jutsu and improve upon it.
I won talk
So
call.
why does he call him strong and then he surpassed him then and then he surpassed Kakashi as well? Like, what's he mean when he says surpassing and he's strong? What's he talking about there?
Oh, he said will surpass. He doesn't say he surpassed him here.
I guess it's time to pass the torch. He surpassed me. Naruto's become truly strong.
No,
He tries to say the context is like he's saying he will surpass him. But then, like, look, he's like they were talking about it earlier in the arc, like when he's doing the Rasen Shuriken training. So he's like, yeah, Naruto, you're the only one I think that can surpass the fourth Hokage, Minato. Then Naruto comes into the Kakuzu fight after he learned the Rasen Shuriken. He's like, you said I was the only one that could surpass him. And then after he kills him with the Rasen Shuriken, he said, all right, you surpassed both of us. Like, that's literally what happened, bro. That's the whole fucking narrative purpose of this entire fucking arc, is that Naruto is coming in with the explicit intention to surpass Minato, and he does it. That was the setup and the accomplishment. So, pretty fucking easy.
Not even fourth Hokage are well within his command.
Kakashi says that Naruto surpassed him. Yeah.
No, he says Naruto surpassed Minato as well. He literally, like, you see that bottom panel. He said you're the only shinobi who can surpass the fourth Hokage. That means Kakashi told him he believes he's going to surpass the fourth Hokage. I know you remember that during the training arc. And then there's also
he tells
Naruto
him
has
that he's
become
gonna
truly
surpass the
strong.
fourth Hokage.
Jutsu
He
that were
tells him
beyond.
He's going to surpass the fourth Hokage, and then like 200 chapters down the line, when Naruto, after gaining like 80 new abilities, does something else against a bunch of opponents who are way stronger than Kakuzu. Kakashi compares him to Minato.
He doesn't though.
So
What
do
does
you
he
think
compare him
that
to Minato?
Naruto was completely stagnant? He's like Sensei, and there's a direct comparison drawn between the two of them. Naruto.
What do you mean by direct comparison drawn?
There's a direct comparison. That's vague as fuck. What's the comparison that's being made? You have to actually make a claim. This is just vague as shit. Again, Swag's not actually saying anything, but he's pretending it scales somewhere. I mean, this is dishonest as well. Just in general, trash arguments from Swag. Trash arguments all the fucking way around.
Kakashi calls Naruto Sensei, right? You know,
Okay, so why does what is calling him Sensei entail?
comparing him to Minato? Like, this
What is he comparing though? Like what attribute?
I don't know. Whatever attribute is being like, what attribute do you think is being compared here? When
I don't think there's a comparison being made, so I'm asking you.
No, I don't know. Naruto's as strong as Minato. He's catching up to Minato.
Okay, so does it say that? Or are you just pulling that as headcanon? Because
So I call him out on his assumption. He said it's as strong. That's the trait that he named. So he said that's comparing their strength when he says Sensei and looks at him.
as I'm concerned, he can just visually mistake his like cape and shit as the fourth Hokage and think that he's literally seeing Minato, but he's just mistaken because it looks like Minato.
This is what.
Yeah. So like this would be like, imagine like you see Minato's son come in. How come in this debate you were so hostile, but in the second debate you two seem to be friends? He was talking mad shit the other night, basically. He was talking mad shit on Six's stream for no reason. I didn't even provoke him. He came at me, was saying that like he destroyed me in the last two debates and shit like that. So he was talking mad shit, running his mouth, saying he's gonna like destroy me, saying I ducked Kakuzu versus Minato and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean that's why it got hostile. Plus all the history, like the cheating in the past, and making me wait 9 months for the second debate after first agreeing to it. There was a lot of history to this third debate. So I mean, it wasn't just like this is something. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, bro. My issue with Swagkage's performance here is that from his perspective, the debate isn't close, but yet he fought on every point as if it's a close topic. Yeah. He thinks this is like a downhill topic. He thinks that like Minato like creams Kakuzu, like it's not close, but then he's like losing like everything. You also left the first debate, didn't you? Okay, so yeah, this is again like another reason Swag was ratting. I had told them before the debate that I had to leave for work. I told them that, and that it wasn't a good time for me to debate because of that. And they both demanded and wanted me to debate right fucking then. So I agreed to do it, but with the condition that I would only have like a limited time frame. Just like they did at the beginning of this debate. They said 2 hours. Well, I told them like an hour or something like that. I even ran over the time and made myself a little bit late for work to continue debating him, but I had to go eventually because I literally had work scheduled. So they knew that beforehand, and then they tried to turn that around and make it look like, oh, I ran away from the debate, as if they didn't know that beforehand. So yeah, it was actually dishonest, like, basically Swag weaponizing his audience against me to make me look like I did something bad, but in actuality he already knew that I was on a limited time frame. But yeah, and it's not like I didn't let the debate be judged over what was actually argued anyway, so I didn't do anything ratty. Like I just said like, okay, well, since he didn't scale his character, just judge on the arguments that were made.
I'm talking about, bro, this is so ass.
It's just so ass because I'm getting fucked in the ass.
Oh my goodness.
Or are you just pulling that as headcanon? Because as far as I'm concerned, he can just visually mistake his like cape and shit as the fourth Hokage and think that he's literally seeing Minato, but he's just mistaken because it looks like Minato.
This is what I'm talking about, bro. This is so ass.
Appreciate that.
Ass because I'm getting fucked in the ass by Noodles. Noodles is really ass destroying me right now. He's really clapping my cheeks, and I don't have any fucking counter arguments, so I'm just gonna appeal to the chat.
Good bully, good bully. What's up, Big Alex? Just been breaking down in the debate. Like, why didn't Swag just accept most of your Kakuzu scale and then use his high-end Minato stuff? He's supposedly so confident. It's because he wasn't confident at all in this debate. Like, you can tell from the beginning he's fucking nervous. And that's why he wouldn't debate me the night on stream when he was talking shit.
Yeah.
Jesus, you're annoying. See, this is what I'm saying. Like, Swag's fans get mad when I'm shit talking. They don't like it when I bully like Swag for being like a rat and a disingenuous piece of shit. Like, they don't like it when I shit talk him because they're already, like, in love with him. They already love Swag, bro. They do anything for Swag, right? So they don't like how I'm rhetorically coming off. And I knew that. I told this to Clyde before the debate that I was going to try to be more robotic and, like, combative. But yeah, just the shit talk, the dishonesty, the constant evasiveness from Swag in this debate pissed me off. So, like I said, in history coming back too, you know, it is what it is. But, like, at the end of the day, like, I did, like, absolutely violate him. They don't like how I sounded, but that's it, yeah. I haven't read the manga in years. Wasn't say Kakuzu survived an encounter against Hashirama. He did, and it was before he even had his heart jutsu, before he even had his forbidden jutsu. And he still doesn't think physical attacks can harm him, by the way. I'm just trolling. But yeah, he did fight Hashirama. He lived somehow. We don't really know what happened. Escaped, killed all the elders at his village, stole all their forbidden jutsu, and then ran away. She surpassed the 4th Hokage, buddy. So Minato can't do that to Naruto.
No, that's not true. Like,
Swag or Jay? Swag did better than Jay. I'll admit that. Jay got beat on every point too, but Swag, I think I rhetorically performed a little worse in the Swag debate because I said I was overly verbose and repetitive, just by nature of the topic as well. That's going to happen in any Minato versus Kakuzu debate. It gets really repetitive because people can't agree on basic things apparently. But yeah, Jay literally had nothing as well. They both did similarly bad. I'd say it's a low diff for both. So to say that he stands no chance against Minato is foolish, yeah. Especially given the fact that, like, Kakuzu is already a Kage level fighter. Like, I didn't bring up this narrative argument during the debate, and I probably should have. But, like, the first thing that we learn about the Akatsuki when they turn up is that they're Kage level fighters. Like, the first thing Deidara does is beat Gaara. Sasori beat the third Kazekage. Plenty of them scale above Biju and Jinchuriki. The 4th and the 3rd are like 8 Tails level. They're both like Biju level. Like the 3rd stalemated with them. So like all these characters, like a bunch of the Kage are around Biju level. The Akatsuki can beat Kage, you know, things like that. So like people talk about Minato being a Kage and this and that. Like Kakuzu's title as an Akatsuki member is in equivalency to like a Kage. Like it is on that level. Like it's not really that much different. Itachi beat Yagura. For instance, he was a Kage and a Jinchuriki. So yeah, being an Akatsuki level fighter narratively already puts you on the level of a Kage. So for people just to say, oh, Minato's like, oh, he's the Hokage, you know, this and that. He's like one of the weakest Hokages, especially because he didn't get to like live later into his life and unlock more jutsu. But yeah. Swag later admitted he should have just gave you the Yugito stuff when he left. Big W on that. Nice one on the debate. It was very entertaining to watch. Glad you enjoyed it, bro. I rewatched the debate. You didn't conclude. Yeah, I said everything I was going to say. I concluded the debate. Also, I didn't agree to, like, any specific format either. Like, yeah, sure, like, we agreed to conclude. I gave my conclusions how I wanted to give my conclusions, and then I left the fucking debate. I'm not obligated to stay there any longer. I already shit on Swag's arguments. I didn't feel like listening to him yap. I wasn't going to give another response. So there's no magic debate rule that makes me have to sit there and listen to Swag's response. I don't care what, like, pussy, like, cope y'all have. Cope about it. Cope and Steve. I really don't give a shit.
I said, here, let me find the...
Yeah, you know what's funny? Kakashi's directly comparing Naruto to Minato. In your scan, nothing's being compared.
So what do you think the point was of...
Swag just said he was going to repeat what he said when he left, by the way. Yeah, I know he was. I knew he was going to yap about why he won the debate, some bullshit, say how he won the point. I just didn't need to hear it. You really just need everything explained to you. I mean, bro, I'm not going to lie, Wobuff, you're biased. Like, I can tell you're biased just by the way your comments are being written, bro. Like, nothing I said was incorrect in that last sentence. Like, you can't point to me the error in what I just said. So, stop pretending like I did something wrong. There's no magic debate rule book. I'm not obligated to sit there. So, you can cry, cope, and seethe about it, but I really just don't give a shit. Like, at the end of the day, I don't care if the Swag fans wanted me to stay and listen to his bum-ass conclusion. I fucking whooped his ass for 2.5 hours straight. I have nothing else to prove. I don't need to fucking, like, go further into it than that. So... at the end of the day, Swag got violated. Accept it.
Naruto Master.
You said what?
What do you think the point was of Kakashi calling Naruto Master?
I think he visually mistaked him as Minato because he's wearing a cape and he has...
I am, but you're purposely dense and disingenuous. Okay, bro. let's be real. I've already pointed out like several times Swag's been disingenuous in this debate. You haven't said a single word about that. You haven't said any of that. Does that not prove you're biased? Like, you've been sitting here watching the stream, and I've been literally telling you the time Swag was being dishonest, multiple situations, and you haven't mentioned a word about that. Maybe you should, like, consider the same standard that you have for me to Swag. You should probably do that.
Hair and shit. He probably had like a flashback to when Minato saved him when he was a child.
I wasn't just appealing to the chat. I was actually having like.
No, you do this every time. Like every time we debate, when I like bring up an argument and like a possible interpretation that you have like disagreement with, but you don't actually have like an argument.
I'm not reading your comment again, sorry.
Okay, why do you think Kishimoto, the author,
Why do you think Kishimoto, the author, this point gets overlooked? This is one that people were like harping on in the chat. This is funny that people were harping on this because I literally destroyed Swag on this exact subject. I do misspeak a little bit during my rhetorical point, like the way I explained it. So I did misspeak, but I was right in concluding that Swag did in fact make the claim that what he asked me what I thought Kishimoto thought. So remember that. He's asking me what I think Kishimoto intends by this scene. Now, hypothetically, if I could redo this point, I would just say it doesn't matter what the fuck I think. It's your argument. You have to prove what it means. You have to give a valid interpretation. Like, I shouldn't have even engaged with this. Like, it doesn't matter if, like, my argument does or doesn't answer what his fucking scan says. Like, I don't have to give him an answer to that.
Kakashi mistake Naruto for Minato? Think really hard.
I just told you multiple times why I thought he did it, and I think it's because...
This is what I mean. You're purposely dumb. You're purposely dumb. But what is dumb about me? What did I say that was dumb, though? Like, that's what I'm saying. You can keep saying I'm dumb. You can keep saying I'm dense. You can keep, like, just like Swag. These are ratty arguments. These are terrible arguments. These arguments are ass. But then, like, when you ask him to explain why, he can't actually explain why. And that's the same thing with you, Wobuff. You're literally a Swag goon. Like, I'm sorry to tell you.
Kakashi has been saved by Minato in the past. Naruto saved him here, and he visually could have thought that it was Minato for a second. Like,
given a valid interpretation, he could have literally thought Minato came back from the dead for a second because it looked just like him. He mistook him for his former sensei. He mistook his son that looks like him, that's doing a similar feat to something he's probably seen in the past. Like, I get it, like, you know, this looks like something. It looks like Minato. That doesn't mean Minato's necessarily on KCM Naruto's level. It just doesn't. It doesn't have to, or KCM 2 Naruto at that. Especially considering KCM 1 Naruto is directly compared to Minato more times than that. Like, Tsunade says it, Killer Bee says it, the Raikage says it. They narratively, like, put them side by side when they both dodge the Raikage. Like, a live Minato is on that level. Like, they literally show the chapters side by side of when they both dodge the Raikage. Naruto performs, like, the same feat as him. Like, if we're really talking about where Minato scales, it's KCM 1, like, Raikage level. The 4th data book says Minato's equal to the 4th Raikage in speed. So, there you go. I guess when the Raikage got older and faster, he became equal to Minato. But maybe you argue he's a little bit like Minato's a little bit faster than him. That makes sense too. You know, he's KCM level. Somewhere around that tier is all okay. But trying to argue based on this vague, like, oh, who is that? Oh, is that Sensei? You know, that's your argument for why he's like KCM 2 level. It's way too vague. It's way too much narrative, like, it's just your interpretation, your subjective interpretation of the narrative that doesn't have to necessarily be the case. Like, they don't have to be making a power scaling comparison here at all. It could just be a different kind of narrative comparison. Like, does he think it's Minato, for instance? Author intent in these anime debates don't really matter. It's an easy way out. What happened to power scaling? I know.
literally is confused that it's Minato.
It's because all of his arguments from here forward are just narrative cope outside of, like, the Kurama argument at the end, but that one's just ass anyway.
Something like this.
The narrative, so you want me to go inside of Kishimoto's head and verify a mind-independent fact? Here, and he visually could have thought that it was Minato for a second. Like, he literally is confused that it's Minato.
Implication of something like this.
The narrative so you want me to go inside of Kishimoto's head and verify a mind-independent fact? Or a mind-dependent fact?
Tell me what your reading of the text is.
You just asked me a second ago, what do you think Kishimoto is thinking when he's writing this? Okay, so what I would have to do in order to attain that level of information is I would have to exist in the same place at the same time Kishimoto is writing that page. And I would literally have to either be a mind reader or have some kind of telepathic ability to understand what his true intentions were with that scene. What I can tell you is there's not a single fucking attribute that's actually being compared there, and all Kakashi's doing is visually mistaking him for Minato when he's confused. There is...
Boom. shit on. I mean, he got shit on there. Mind-dependent facts. This is something you can only verify if you are the mind itself. These are things that only you know. Only you can truly know what you're feeling at the moment. You can't tell what other people are feeling or thinking. So yeah, mind-dependent facts. That's all it is. Learn what it is. Basic philosophical term, Swag. He got shit on at this point. Literally had nothing for it.
There's no speed comparison. In fact, we have multiple things.
No. Hold on.
What?
You're missing the point. I'm not talking.
Would you debate T-Jump? Yeah, probably.
About this is
Why is Hokage Minato faster than Jonin Minato? Like, if A was physically faster back then, what did Minato get that surpassed that? Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he really is much different because he gets promoted right after the war, so he probably hasn't even had that much time to train. So, yeah. Power scaling versus narrative, there is a difference. One places narrative arguments that put characters above others. Naruto, the story's finished, all the feats are there. Yeah, like, I totally agree with you. Like, the feats are, if you don't have, like, a feat from Minato, just say that. Like, if you just don't have power scaling feats, that's fine. Just admit it. If you don't have statements, just admit it. Using these vague-ass, like, narrative, subjective interpretations of, like, what the author's thinking and stuff like that, those are never going to be solid arguments. Those are always going to be weak interpretive arguments that aren't necessarily objective, that aren't necessarily proven. I can have a totally different interpretation than you that's equally valid, and that's what I was presenting to him here. I think that Kakashi literally thought he saw Minato for a second, which is what he says. He says, "Sensei, is that you?" Like... But, you know, that doesn't really make sense because he's dead. But in his head, he's probably discombobulated from the entire fucking war that's going on around him and him getting concussed by Biju and shit. So, you know, maybe he had a slip in judgment for a second, but it's also Minato's son. So he visually looks like him. So, of course, he would think this. This is a basic, like, interpretation of this like, feat. Deadass, the only difference between Hokage Minato and Jonin is Sage Minato. Yeah, provably, I guess.
necessarily intrinsically power scaling based. All I am saying is that Minato...
He admits it's not intrinsically power scaling based. So he's saying the statement isn't inherently comparing power scaling.
No, hold on.
What?
You're missing the point. I'm not talking about this is necessarily
So he concedes it.
Intrinsically power scaling based. All I am saying is that Minato is still being used to hype up Naruto like 200 chapters after Kakuzu.
It's not inherently power scaling, but he's hyping him up. Hype beast statements. All Minato fans are hype beasts. That's what they are. They're hype beasts. If something looks cool, if something's flashy, they fucking, they'll get down on all fours and twerk for that shit, bro. They love flashy feats. They love, like, good-looking things. But when it actually comes to scaling said feats and scaling said statements, all of a sudden it becomes much harder. I do like how Six versus Jay the Great Nonsense has produced more debates. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna see if Six wants to debate. We'll see. He said he would not too long ago. So we'll see if that's changed since the Swag debate. I don't think our differences are me liking Swag's videos. I think it's that I don't understand debating something you don't believe in for the sake of winning. Okay, bro. Let me put it to you this way. Would it be that crazy if I just did believe these arguments? Would it be that crazy to you that I think an Akatsuki Kage level fighter could beat one of the weakest alive Hokages? And I'm saying that with respect to Minato, because to be honest, he has the worst AP feats among all the Kage. The only one you might be able to say he beats is Tsunade. And I'm serious about that. So if that's my honest opinion of Minato, and my honest opinion of Kakuzu is somebody that actually scales to the Biju, and actually can fight Biju and tank Biju attacks, unlike Minato, who gets one shot by Biju every time he fights them, literally gets one shot by fingernails from the Nine Tails, gets his chest blown out by version 2 Kushina. Yeah, I don't think Minato is as strong as Kakuzu. I think that's pretty fucking evident. Sure, you can maybe argue he's faster. Even then, that's a stretch, because Yugito is also extremely fast. She's able to keep up with Killer Bee, and Killer Bee blitzed Jonin Minato. So there's a lot of things going against Minato that you're probably not even considering. And I need to make a whole video on it because Minato is much more ass than people even realize. So these are just my genuine opinions, and I get that's not how a lot of people go through this series, like a lot of normies and casual viewers. They look at all the flashy shit, they look at all the like good looking like feats and like stuff that Minato does, like the slow-mo and all that, and I think it's super cool, and that's probably why they think he's so strong. But if you're actually going under it with a lens from a power scaling perspective, he dies at the beginning of the series. He doesn't get very much feats. The only time he does is when he comes back way later in the fucking war arc, and even at that point, he's the only Kage that becomes a paraplegic, gets blitzed by Jubito, doesn't even scale to Madara. You know, he basically gets nothing during the war arc. There's only like a handful of feats you can even bring from that. But yeah, like overall, I just don't think he's as impressive as people make him out to be. I do think KCM Minato is more impressive. But yeah.
Defeat. And even though this isn't as deep into the war arc, you have him being directly compared to Minato later when he fights against A.
Swag.
You have the statement that Kurama makes later about how he's finally surpassed Minato and Kushina.
Yeah.
Look at how you're building a caricature. No, this is just years of research and looking at the characters, bro. Like, I get that, like, you think that I'm building a caricature, but, like, I want you to name me one, like, Prime Alive Hokage Minato AP feat. Like, what do you think his strongest ability is and why? And once you answer that question, you'll find out that he's actually ass. Gets one shot by the Nine Tails, by the way.
What's that in context to, though?
Minato later
Oh, this point's
when he fights
bad.
Against A.
Thanks.
No, hold on.
What?
You're missing the point. I'm not talking about this is necessarily intrinsically power scaling.
That's not what my comment said, bro. You haven't made a single comment that even, like, addresses what I'm saying, bro. Like, literally just address what I'm saying to you. Like, can you even think of a good Minato AP feat? Like, a good attack potency feat for him? A good strength feat? Like, that's what I'm saying. You can't say shit, bro. You don't have anything. So, you're sitting there bitching and moaning, but you literally have nothing to say against my criticisms of Minato as a power scaling perspective. You have nothing against that. So, I get that you're upset that I'm dogging on Minato and Swag, your, like, favorite characters, and you might have these preconceived notions that they're stronger than they actually are, but he doesn't have good AP feats, bro. And I'm saying that with respect to Minato. Like, he's ass. At the end of the day, he's a speedster who dodges, like, nearly every attack. His only good attribute is speed. Good durability feat is when Nine Tails' toenail went straight through Minato's chest and killed him. Yeah, literally one shot. Did Swag ever bring up speed feats that can bypass Kakuzu's reaction speed? I just said that I didn't need Kakuzu to be faster than Minato, that he would be able to withstand all of his attacks. So it didn't matter if Minato was faster. And I was arguing it from base, too. So he didn't even need to activate Diamond Armor.
Deep into the war arc, you have him being directly compared to Minato later when he fights against A.
Swag.
You have the statement that Kurama makes later about how he's finally surpassed Minato and Kushina.
Yeah, what's that in context to, though? I like how you leave out context. Why did Ninetales say that?
Appreciate that, Long John Silvers.
What attribute did the Ninetales
I agree.
compare him to in that very statement you just stated, Swag?
Here, let me pull it up.
Let me pull it up. You know why he's having to pull it up? Because he didn't even know what the fuck he was talking about. He referenced a statement that he couldn't even remember the context to. This is what happens when you have the Wiki Slop YouTuber fucking come back out of retirement after like 3 years, no video, like 2 videos, you know, comes out of retirement, and this is the shit that he remembers. Like, he's like, oh yeah, didn't the Ninetales say that Naruto surpassed Minato and KCM too? And I'm like, yeah, Swag, what's the context of that? Oh, let me go look for it. Why do you need to look for it, Swag? You can't just cite to me what happened? Surely you're not bringing up a feat that you don't know the context to. But of course he is, right? Like, he's just bringing up some shit that he doesn't even remember.
I can just tell it to you.
Sure. Yeah.
He compares it in his ability.
He said, yeah. I shouldn't even gave that to him, to be honest. I shouldn't even told him.
Like, manipulate Ninetales chakra. He says he surpassed Kushina and Minato both, which fucking makes sense. It's not anything else. So he's good at controlling the chakra. Okay.
What chapter is it in?
I don't know. It's you can just look it up. But
Okay, I'll find it.
I told him what it was. He said that he surpassed Minato and Kushina a while ago. What does a while ago mean, chat? To my knowledge, it's ambiguous, right? So this whole idea of him like surpassing way, like they use Minato as a benchmark like way later in the series. The only time they mention him as a benchmark, like the final time they mention him as a true benchmark, is when Naruto and KCM 1 like surpasses the Raikage. That's the last time Minato really gets mentioned, and that's because that was his speed that got surpassed at that moment. That was his best attribute, not his AP, not his durability. If anything, Naruto surpassed him in that with the Rasen Shuriken. So he automatically surpassed, and then he surpassed him again in Sage Mode, then he surpassed him again in KCM. The whole like, oh, he surpassed you guys again with like the controlling Ninetales chakra. He says that happened a while ago, so that means it could have been like any time during the war arc. You can't clarify like that's actually a benchmark that's happening way later in the series. He's already gained more control over Ninetales chakra than Minato. That could have been the pain arc when Naruto died. Yeah, it's possible. Like, we don't even know when he's actually referring to. I do think Kushina being able to control the full Ninetales does mean that, like, she does have, like, really good manipulation. That's another thing, too. I think Kushina's control of the Ninetales is obviously better than Minato's. It is. It's literally stated to be able to restrain the full Ninetales and suppress the full Ninetales chakra. So if it's able to fucking do those things, then it's better than what Minato can do. Because Minato can only deal with, like, the chakra when Kushina's helping him, and only half of it as well. I don't think it's really relevant overall. Like most of the arguments. What was you said something at the beginning too? What was your initial statement? This is what happens when shotgun points too. I gotta like jump around.
Sure. Yeah. The initial statement was hold on, I'm looking for this chapter. That
See, I should have harped on that more too, Crane. What confuses me about Swag's adamantine chain argument is that it only stops movement when every other sealing jutsu stops both chakra and movement. That's what's stated about sealing techniques in general. What is a seal? Something that seals chakra, right? And it's working on a chakra plane. Kushina is pure chakra when she uses her chains. That means her chains are chakra. It's on a chakra plane, right? So when she's suppressing the Ninetales, in context, it's directly referring to the Ninetales chakra, right? So obviously it's suppressing the Ninetales chakra. That's how it works. So it's kind of funny that like he just doesn't understand how the sealing jutsu works, but he's literally a dumbass. $2 from Jerry Bone. You should debate Swag on Madara versus Kakuzu. I'd slam him on that too.
Minato's still being used as a benchmark deep into the end of the series.
Minato's the latest benchmark he mentioned was the Ninetales feat, and I completely destroyed that by saying the Ninetales said it happened a while ago, so it's not necessarily way later in the series. The last time he's used as a benchmark is KCM 1, and that's only in context to speed.
Remember that part? There's something specific you said.
Oh yeah, about how like Naruto
Appreciate the $2, by the way.
Being way weaker, like massively weaker than he is by the time of the war when he's being compared.
The Striker one was a beatdown.
Over and over and over and over again.
It's his father, of course he's going to be compared to him.
It's a recurring plot.
But like, in what ways is he being compared is the question, right? Like, I think it's visually in the context of one panel. I think it's in context of like holding like or manipulating.
This is getting repeat. This is a repetitive point.
Both of them, so that means he's just surpassed them in manipulating Ninetales chakra. Also, the Ninetales says he surpassed them a while ago too, so it's vague as to when he even did that. Hold on. It's vague as to when, like, the Ninetales says he surpassed you both a while ago, so it's vague even to when he specifically surpassed him in like controlling our Ninetales chakra. Like that could be a lot of different places. Okay, it doesn't have to actually specify one specific thing, so it doesn't have to be like the exact moment in the war arc you're referring to. The Kakashi example.
Imagine thinking movement is restricted but Kurama's full power. Yeah, also that's true as well. That would have been a good point to bring up.
Got shit on.
Like he needed Kushina's help every time he fought the Ninetales.
I don't know what other example you even gave, so if you gave another one, there was something you specifically said that I was going to challenge you on.
Example got shit on because you still haven't offered a reason why Kishimoto would put that in the story.
Okay, like I said, that's a mind-dependent fact. In order to verify mind-dependent,
it's really not mind-dependent.
Yes, it is.
Figure out what an author was trying to say. People do it all the time.
No. Actually, that goes down like.
Oh, I want to show you guys something too. I found this in the anime afterwards. I think it's kind of funny. I think you guys are gonna like this. So it's about Kushina's chains and whether or not they suppress chakra. Let me switch my OBS over. One. Capture. Two. Okay. You guys see this? So this is Kushina, or current, and this is anime only, by the way. But I say Kurenine Kushina. What the hell's her name? Karine. That's it. Another K word. But yeah, she uses the chain. She says, I've never used it before. This chain can even bind a massive chakra. So I said this was a valid possibility. This confirms it. This confirms that it's a valid interpretation to have. You can totally say when it says suppressing the Nine Tails, it's referring to the chakra. It's on a chakra plane. She's literally pure chakra. This says it can bind a massive chakra, obviously referring to even like Biju chakra and stuff like that. So yes, it easily is suppressing the Nine Tails chakra. I brought up a lot of these arguments, not the anime one, but a lot of these arguments in the debate too. Just using them as valid interpretations and possibilities to cancel out Swag's argument that it was necessarily full power, because he's on the affirmative in that situation. He has to justify that the Nine Tails is full power in order for Minato to scale to it. So as long as I bring up a possibility that he's not at full power and it's a valid interpretation, then you can't say for sure that Minato does in fact scale to the Nine Tails. But yeah.
The author rabbit hole, and I doubt you're philosophically capable of actually contending me on that. It does. No, it really does, because you're not able to actually discern what's inside of an author's head, like epistemically. You can't discern what people are thinking. Like, even if an author comes out and tells you what they were thinking later, that doesn't mean they didn't retroactively change it. That doesn't mean it hasn't been years and they've forgotten.
Hold on, let me switch this back. Boom. Rename this. Just... Yeah, there we go.
Doesn't mean that maybe they made a plot hole and they want to change it later, you know, things like that. Like
even this point, which people tried to clown on me for, but I was still right in the debate about it.
Shit on. I don't know what other example you even gave. So if you gave another one, there was something you specifically said that I was going to challenge.
Yes, you could say it's more nerfed, just like you can say Yang Kurama's more nerfed than Sasuke in their Mindscape fight. Exactly.
The example got shit on because you still haven't offered a reason why Kishimoto would put that in the story.
Okay, like I said,
why does Swag think he won this? Just because he has a bunch of hyped up people in his chat, bro. They're just always hyping him, but he literally lost like every major point.
Fact, in order to verify mind dependent.
It's really not mind dependent.
Yes, it is.
Figure out what an author was trying to say. People do it all the time.
No,
it's really not mind dependent. He doesn't even know what fucking mind dependent facts are. A mind dependent fact is a fact that's reliant on the mind. It's literally something that you only can internally feel. You have to internalize those, like your thoughts, your feelings. That means I can't verify someone else's thoughts and feelings. It's pretty fucking obviously a mind-dependent fact. And he has no clue that trying to discern what Kishimoto's inner thoughts and feelings are is trying to like verify a mind-dependent fact. So I would consider myself unbiased, and you low dipped him. Yeah, I agree.
No. Actually, that goes down like the depths of the author rabbit hole, and I doubt you're philosophically capable of actually contending me on that. It does. No, it really does, because you're not able to actually discern what's inside of an author's head, like epistemically. You can't discern what people are thinking. Like, even if an author comes out and tells you what they were thinking later, that doesn't mean they didn't retroactively change it. That doesn't mean it hasn't been years and they've forgotten. That doesn't mean that maybe they made a plot hole and they want to change it later, you know, things like that. Like, even if someone tells you, that doesn't even truly verify what they were actually thinking at the time. That's why it's a mind-dependent fact. Because
facts can change over time, too. If I tell the same story 100 times, details are going to change. Like, over time, details change, too. So if, like, an author even comes out and tells you later that they said something, and this is what they meant by what they said, like, years ago, that isn't necessarily true, because details could have changed. They could have forgotten details. They could have forgotten entire facts. But, yeah.
Like, language itself is...
His argument is, literally, if you don't agree with my interpretation, then you disagree with Kishimoto's intent. Yes. You've successfully clapped Swag 3 times. Now, appreciate that, bro. I do think so as well.
Inferior way of communication. A true way to communicate with people would be if I could, like, touch your skin and we could just instantly feel each other's thoughts and feel it.
Minato versus Tsunade and even Jiraiya is much closer than people would like to admit. Yeah, the thing is about that, like, I don't think it's a coincidence that when Naruto gets Sage Mode, he's stated to surpass both Minato and Jiraiya at the same time. Like, I don't really think that's a coincidence. I do actually think Minato is probably, like, either Sannin level or above the Sannin. Like, that's probably where he's, like, realistically at for me. Like, he brought up how, like, Hiruzen said that Minato could have beaten Orochimaru and stuff like that, right? Like, that makes sense to me. Like, yeah, I could actually see Minato being a Sannin level. That is where around where I would put him. So, Hashirama versus Hiruzen, who wins? I have to think about it, bro. I have to think about it. Because there was a lot of data book statements that say Hiruzen's the strongest in part 1. But it's mostly coming from, like, people who have said it. I do think that they're, like, consistent, so you can definitely make the argument for it. And, like, there's even the Boruto guidebook. So Hiruzen's definitely got more strength. He's got more hacks in his arsenal. Hashirama's probably got the better speed feats overall, though. He also, I doubt Hiruzen has wood style as well. I know he says he has every jutsu in the Leaf Village, but I don't think he has wood style. I don't think he has Hashirama cells. I don't know. You can make an argument for both. Can the argument be made that Kurama was under worse suppression than Minato in the chakra plane due to the effects of the 8 tetragram seal? Literally what that situation is representing, this was what I was trying to explain to Swag. What's happening in the real world when the chakra fight is going on, like when, like, you know, Minato, Kushina, and the Nine Tails are all beefing inside the mental world and they're all fighting each other, that's their internal chakras fighting each other, right? That's when Minato's doing the sealing jutsu. That's the same time that Minato does the sealing jutsu. So that means that, like, what's actually happening in the physical world is Minato's performing a sealing jutsu, and the fight that we see is the struggle to see if the sealing jutsu goes off. There's even a direct statement that Minato, after the fight, sealed the Nine Tails, obviously with the help of Kushina, but he sealed the Nine Tails after the fight, right? After he, like, Rasengans, it, like, shows that and says he sealed them. That means that fight is a representation of the sealing jutsu. Chat, does sealing jutsu scale to your physical stats? Like, does getting a sealing jutsu off mean, like, the property difference between a sealing jutsu and an actual fight is pretty different. Like, it's almost like the mental world doesn't inherently scale. Minato, a dumbass, perfect sage, and doesn't use it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. The data books say that he was known as the strongest, I'm pretty sure, and people stopped believing Hashirama's power. Yeah, there's weird arguments you can make like that. Yeah, you can, like, make, like, you know, people didn't actually truly understand Madara and Hashirama's power and stuff. You know, you can make some claims like that. No databooks say Hiruzen the strongest one is said to be, but databook 2 just says it. Yeah, it's contentious. Like I said, it's not clear cut. I do think it was like some part 1 shenanigans when they didn't understand how strong Hashirama and Madara is. So I do give some credence to that idea, because, like, Minato's also, like, relatively hyped in part 1, but then, like, later on, like, he kind of gets dwarfed by characters, which is true of Hiruzen in terms of feats. But the thing is, we also never got to see Prime Hiruzen, so the statements don't really get contradicted either. So it's like one of those things. Like with Minato, he gets surpassed at Flying Thunder God by Obito. He gets surpassed. His Rasengan gets surpassed when Naruto gets the Rasen Shuriken. His sealing jutsu gets surpassed when he admits that he can't seal the full Nine Tails. Yet multiple Uzumaki were able to seal the full Nine Tails. Hashirama was able to seal the 10 Tails. So obviously he's not the best at sealing either. So like Minato objectively gets surpassed in like all of his abilities. But with someone like Prime Hiruzen, he never necessarily gets like, we don't get to see Prime Hiruzen, so he doesn't actually get contradicted in the same ways. So wait then, the argument of Minato having Hashirama sealing jutsu is BS. Hashirama has a better sealing feat than anything Minato did. A weakened Hashirama has a better sealing feat than anything Minato did. Think about that for a second. He's Edo Hashirama. Madara, even as an Edo Tensei with the Rinnegan and Hashirama cells, was still nerfed beyond his prime. Hashirama says he doesn't start returning to his prime until he gets revived. So, like, that means Edo Madara, even with the Rinnegan amp, even with Hashirama cells and an infinitely regenerating pool, was still nerfed to an extent that he wasn't able to return to his prime. So Hashirama, and also Madara just directly says that both Tobirama and Hashirama, there's a reason they can't regain their full power right now. Tobirama says they're only close to their original strength. So yeah, literally a weakened Hashirama pinned down the 10 Tails and sealed it, which is more impressive than anything Minato's ever did. Minato says the 10 Tails Obito that he's more perfect than him in his dreams. Yep, I remember that argument. Yeah. No, databooks say Hiruzen is strong. Is it true that Swag ducked Tobirama versus Minato? He did duck it. He did indeed duck it. He said it was ratty, so whatever that means. You know, he's willing to debate Kakuzu versus Minato because he sees it as one-sided, but anytime a topic like Tobirama versus Minato comes up where there's like clear arguments that can be made for both, he doesn't really want to talk about it.
Which is only a tool. Listen, just because you're not philosophically inclined, I'm explaining something kind of complex to you, I understand. But just
he knows Tobirama wins, actually. Deep down, he knows.
Which itself is a tool used to describe our emotions, our feelings, and our thoughts, right? That doesn't mean the words actually capture what our feelings say, what our thoughts say. The words are
so this point, I will admit, was not rhetorical at all. Like, I should not have like went on this tangent. I shouldn't even like this is like a non-point. People like harped on this super hard, but at the end of the day, it's kind of just a non-point anyway. It doesn't actually address any of my major arguments. So yeah, anyway, rhetorical BS here, but it's okay.
Mind-dependent fact is pretty funny considering you.
I am right still, like that is going over his head. Like I am still right, but it's just not rhetorical. So
verify what Kishimoto's thinking. You have to verify what he was actually inside of his head at the time, and that's impossible. So I'm not worried about what Kishimoto's thinking at the time. I'm only concerned.
I think he was joking when he said that, though, Big Alex. Like he's clearly like smiling and smirking about it.
I can take that statement and be like, okay, this is a valid interpretation of that statement. This is what the book is telling me. I don't give a fuck what Kishimoto was thinking. If Kishimoto comes out later and he's like, no, I meant Naruto's actually weaker than Minato.
Well,
I'm not going to suddenly believe Kishimoto over the narrative. The actual book transcends the author at that point.
I just asked you, like, what do you think this means? And you got into, like, oh, well, if we'd be able to, like, some shit about, like, touching skin. I just, like, Noodles, it's really not a hard question to answer. You don't have to keep evading it. What do you think the narrative purpose of having Kakashi? I mean, no matter how you want to frame it, it is a comparison. So what
I've already answered your question, like, 3 times, so if I have to do it again, I'm going to get a little pissy. So let's keep this.
Talk for so long, you're not going to let me finish?
Listen, you're already saying dumb shit, though.
Oh my god, bro.
You're already saying dumb shit. You're saying I'm being evasive. Like I didn't address this question like 3 fucking
Yeah,
times.
I'm being evasive. So funny. That's very hypocritical.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Let's chill. Swag.
Little rap away.
You were gonna say?
Okay, so like, I think that you're evading the question. It's really not that difficult to answer, and Minato is like consistently a benchmark like throughout the
By
series.
the way, I don't have to even answer this question. This question I don't have to answer because this is not my argument. He's trying to ask what I think about his scan. That's his position to prove. He's the one that has to demonstrate the scan means something. I don't have to. I already gave him multiple valid interpretations of what I said anyway. I already told him what my interpretation was, that he just visually thinks it's Minato for a second. He's like discombobulated. Like, of course he thinks that.
No, let me fucking
It's fucking his son, bro.
It's not something Kishimoto, you can't sneak this little narrative in there. They're like, oh, well, Kakashi's calling back to this time that he got saved. Because, I mean, like, Naruto is like, it literally begins with the story hyping up Minato as this like warrior without peer. You have people like Jiraiya saying that, like, and keep in mind, this Jiraiya who thought, like, the leader of the Akatsuki, it was inconceivable for him to have beaten Hanzo, right, when he goes to the Hidden Rain Village, okay? He says, knowing that Hanzo is still alive, nobody is even close to Minato, and then Tsunade immediately agrees with him. You got the third saying when Orochimaru invades.
This is a shotgun.
The fourth right here. You got the no.
This is a shotgun. You've already made 4 fucking points.
This is all in service of 1 point. You only have to respond to 1 point, okay? And you just talked for like 40 years, bro. So you gotta let me have this. I'll consolidate this though. I'll only give like one more example. You got
Respect to Swag for at least debating you.
Oh, I'm the fastest.
He didn't want to, but he was forced to.
You got Kakashi, etc., etc. So when deep into the war arc like this, and this is not the only example.
We have timestamps over every point that was made. I could go through and timestamp them if you want, but honestly, that'd be a lot. If someone is willing to do that in this chat and just go through and timestamp every point, that would be really dope. I'd appreciate whoever would do that. Kakashi saw Minato where Naruto was after the pain fight. Yep, Swag will sit there with a straight face and tell you Tobirama's not faster than Hashirama and Madara. Yeah, he's crazy, bro.
Kakashi looking at Naruto, seeing him as Minato, and Kishimoto even going out of his way to draw Naruto with a similar cloak design to Minato. You have to ask yourself, well, what's the purpose of this in the art that I'm engaging with? And the purpose is probably to draw a parallel between Naruto and Minato. And it's right after he, achieved a really...
This is just a repeat point, like the comparison point earlier. And when I asked him to like name the trait that he's comparing, he tried to say strength. I asked him for evidence that it was strength. Like, do they say that? And then he's just like arbitrarily assumes his interpretation's like more valid than like any other interpretation, even though I gave him a equally valid alternate interpretation, which is just that he visually saw him, he looks like him, he's his son, he's discombobulated from the war that's going on around him, concussed from the Biju, laying on the ground. Just kind of gets this hazy perception of who he thinks is Minato for a second. Like, it doesn't have to be that he's comparing any specific attribute. But yeah, this is just a repeat point. He already got shit on this. I asked him for evidence that that they were comparing a specific trait. He doesn't get one.
Really impressive. He deflected 5-tailed beast bombs. I'm not necessarily saying that this does or does not mean that Minato.
I could definitely debate Kakuzu versus Minato versus someone.
We're at chapter like 580 or some shit like that. Minato's still being invoked. He's still having his name invoked. In order to convey how powerful a character is, how much progress a character.
That was almost a no-hit.
And Kakuzu's nowhere to be seen. Been like 200 chapters since Kakuzu first showed up.
Oh, fuck, I'm not
beat him
muted.
by hitting him twice with the Rasen Shuriken. You're not.
Alright, you done with your
answering the
filibuster
question
now?
Because there's not a good answer.
You done with your filibuster
no matter
now?
How you
Alright, I want
answer
evidence for
it
every
makes
single
your
statement you
argument
just
look
mentioned about
really bad.
Minato. This is a W strategy. So he made like 6 points, 5 or 6 points, and I was just like, okay, like if you're making like all these statements that like these support that Minato's supposedly strong, let's see them all and go over them one by one. And this is where Swag gets torn up too, because we're about to get into the Jiraiya statement here in a second, and that's like one of his worst arguments of the debate. I want evidence for every single statement, like the Jiraiya statement, the unparalleled speed statement. I want all those, so that way we can break them down one by one. I'm not going to go through this filibuster. And he called you ratty for trying to make the Tobirama debate, but he tries to be ratty by saying Kushina can't seal the Nine Tails, literally. Just like try and like track like 5 fucking arguments in a row. So either you bring evidence for each and every single one of those claims, or you drop them, because I'm not going to sit here and do this shit. And we're going to go point by point on them. So we'll start with the first game you bring.
I'll get the Jiraiya and Tsunade one first.
And then
W aggression.
I'll have to elaborate on exactly why this means he's like powerful as well. Like the speed statement, I don't care. Jiraiya's like knowledge claim about Minato, don't really care about that. He doesn't even know about
I don't
Kakuzu.
think I have to elaborate on why this means he's powerful. I think this.
You don't think you have to like that kind of goes unnoticed too. Did you guys hear what I said there? I said that like Jiraiya doesn't even know about Kakuzu. So his statements, like he's unparalleled shinobi, don't have to include Kakuzu. He doesn't address this. So this again loses to the burden of rejoinder. He dropped another point without even realizing. Like link the entailment. Know about Kakuzu. Like the speed statement, I don't care. Jiraiya's like knowledge claim about Minato, don't really care about that. He doesn't even know about Kakuzu. Doesn't even know about Kakuzu.
Powerful. I think this.
You don't think you have to like link the entailment to your like you don't think you have to link this conclusion?
Tsunade agrees. These are trustworthy characters.
Hold on, what does he say? He's powerful?
He says, "Come on, everybody pales in comparison to the Fourth Lord."
Yeah, doesn't he mention like charisma in that same panel too? Like personality, charisma, like alternate traits. Like, does it have to be just power? I think he's like also he's like biased towards his student too. He's already got like a mention that he's biased towards him because he's a student. This is like if your boxing coach like was hyping you up to somebody else and they're like, yeah, he's like the best fighter I've ever seen. Does that instantly make you stronger than every fighter ever just because your coach said so? Probably not, right?
The literal next speech bubble, Tsunade says, as a shinobi, his capacity was unparalleled, a true one of a kind. So
yeah, as a shinobi. What does as a shinobi mean?
I think you're being a rat here again. I think the statements are meant to go hand in hand, and it's clearly implying that.
I did make the claim, but he didn't challenge it either, so it goes through. Mean to go hand in hand. If he would have applied a burden in me, that would have mattered, and then I would just question like, you know, how I could have easily at the same time then just questioned how does he know that this statement necessarily includes Kakuzu, and that's what I would have shifted to had he asked for a burden, but he didn't ask for one, so the claim just basically goes uncontested.
Well, Jiraiya says, "Come on, everybody pales in comparison to the Fourth Lord," and wait, no, hold on. This is Jiraiya saying this, actually. Yeah, Jiraiya says as a shinobi, his capacity was unparalleled, a true one of a kind. I thought that was Tsunade saying that, but no, that's Jiraiya. So yes, Jiraiya is saying every.
He does know about Obito Doomfist. Let me explain how this 14-year-old, but not the later variants. As a shinobi isn't just like some like specific attribute. So as a shinobi, that encompasses a totality of multiple things that make a ninja. Shut the fuck up for a second. Just shut the fuck up for a second. Shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up for a second. I'm gonna explain this point. It does because of the burden of rejoinder. It's Swag's fault for not addressing it. Like, he has a burden. Like, in that situation, when I'm questioning, like, the knowledge claim for Jiraiya, he has to address that. Because that does defeat his claim if he doesn't. So, just because you move on doesn't suddenly mean that claim just stops existing. That claim is now inherently a part of the debate and becomes a part of the debate. That's why the burden of rejoinder exists. Point by point.
He was responding.
Hold on, Swag.
I'll put it on the screen.
So if you're saying everyone pales in comparison as a shinobi, that encompasses the totality of everything that makes a ninja exceptional, which includes things such as intelligence, leadership, tactical skill, experience, mission performance, overall capability as a ninja. It doesn't outline any specific attribute, so that doesn't scale Minato anywhere in particular. It's another scaleless statement. So okay, I shit on him here really bad. So like, he's basically using this Jiraiya statement. Let me see if I can just pull it up real quick. Still paralleled. Okay. Can you guys see this? It says, "Oh, come on, everybody pales in comparison to Lord Fourth. He was overflowing with talent, for jutsu, intelligence, and was so socially popular, and well, he was quite a looker, just like me. As a shinobi, his capacity was unparalleled, truly one of a kind. So it's very clear when they're saying like nobody pales in comparison to him as like a shinobi. They're speaking as like his capacity to a shinobi. So I give like my interpretation of what it means to be a shinobi, which is like there's like a ton of different things, which this even mentions multiple things that aren't just power. Like this directly tells us that they're talking about talent, talking about jutsu, intelligence, socially popular. They're even talking about like esoteric things like how good he looks and things like that. So his capacity as a shinobi isn't just inherently related to his power or any specific attribute. They're talking about him in an overarching sense for multiple things, not necessarily one attribute sticks above like every other shinobi in history. So yeah. I would agree with you that every person inherits the burden of proof, but it's also on the person you're debating to call it out, because a debate is a match between two people to see who can force arguments out of people, who can get people to concede points, who can overall win the debate. So like if I make an argument against your position and you refuse to engage with it and dodge it, that's on you. You drop the point. That's just how it works in a competitive format.
Unless you have something to actually establish Minato as
and even still, like that was just like a random point that he didn't address. Like I'm directly shitting on him anyway. Like I'm directly showing that this is obviously talking about more than just power. So he loses this point regardless. Like even if you want to make this claim that like, oh well, you didn't prove every single claim. Like Swag didn't prove every single claim either. He didn't provide evidence for every single claim. That's not how we were even debating to begin with. We were just accepting things without evidence a lot of the time, like just saying that like, yeah, we both know this exists. We don't necessarily need to fulfill the burden of proof every time and provide evidence every single time for every single claim. So yeah, that's just not how this specific format of debate was going. Maybe if you were talking about some like formal debate, it would matter, but like definitely not in this context. Also, I'm directly debunking him anyway.
I'll put it on the screen.
Swag, shut the fuck up.
He was responding. He was responding.
Hold on, Swag.
I'll put it on the screen.
So if you're saying everyone pales in comparison as a shinobi,
I understand that I didn't give evidence for it. Like I said, it's just something he refused to address, and in debate environment, that means it's a dropped point on his end. Like he dropped the point. He let it go through. So I do think in this kind of environment, that is how we treat it. So I think that's valid to say. I also think it's valid to say I just debunked him on the point directly.
That makes a ninja exceptional.
Warwick Lee, he's stronger than Minato. Confirmably, Minato says he's plenty strong after In starts like sweating when he powers up into his 6K.
Includes things such as intelligence, leadership, tactical skill, experience, mission performance, overall capability as a ninja. It doesn't outline any specific attribute, so that doesn't scale Minato anywhere in particular. It's another scaleless statement. So unless you have something to actually establish Minato's Biju level, he can't even damage Kakuzu.
We're not talking about scaling. I already said it was.
So I repeat that he can't damage Kakuzu. Go over everything that like could be the case, like when they're talking about a shinobi's capacity. And how like his interpretation that this inherently means he's stronger than like every other shinobi that Jiraiya knows isn't necessarily true, because he's not just speaking about strength, we're speaking about a lot of different things. So yeah.
A narrative argument.
Yeah, but it's a bullshit narrative argument that's ignoring intention.
It's not okay. Also to address what you just said, he says explicitly he was overflowing with talent for jutsu and intelligence.
Okay, do you think he achieved his pinnacle of talent considering he died at like 21 or whatever it was? Probably not, right? He didn't achieve his pinnacle. He got like killed pretty early.
Why is this relevant?
I'm just asking a simple.
See, he doesn't want to answer the question. He calls me evasive during this debate, but then consistently evades my questions that are like pretty obviously related to the scan too. Pretty obviously related to the argument. We're talking about a scan that says talent, so I ask him a question about if Minato reached his pinnacle of talent. I wonder why I'm asking him that.
I don't think it's relevant, so I don't know.
Okay, that's called being evasive. So we're gonna run that back. I'm gonna ask you the question again. Do you think that Minato reached the pinnacle of talent?
This talent shit got torn apart in part 1 with Lee and Sasuke. That's what I was bringing up, bro. That like you could just work hard enough to overcome talent. And I even like brought up the example of how like Naruto worked harder than Minato, and that's why he was able to learn the Rasen Shuriken. Because I don't think he's as talented as Minato. I think he just outworked him by using shadow clones. So yeah, he did, like they said, he did like I want to say like 30 years worth of training in a week or some shit. Like he actually did that much work, which is an insane stamina feat, by the way. But yeah, literally did 30 years of training in a week. So yeah, he literally just worked harder than Minato lived. Like he worked harder and did enough training to account for like an entire lifetime that superseded Minato. So like he literally did overcome his talent deficit just by working hard.
You don't think Minato could have gotten better is what I'm asking. Of course he could have gotten better, right? He was 21, bro. You don't think people get better after they're 21?
Simple argument.
I think I know where this is going. You're trying to argue that Jiraiya was just saying he had unparalleled
Half a year. It might have only been half a year, but still, it was still funny as hell. It's still funny that like, I mean, he is actually really talented too. But like Hagoromo states that he didn't inherit the talent from either Kushina or Minato. So I perceived Naruto as more of a hard worker most of the time. Like the only thing that he was gifted was Nine Tails, which is a big deal. It is a big deal, but like he doesn't even use it for most of the series, and he's still strong. Like his Sage and Base are still insane, you know.
Okay, here's a good example of that.
But he just before
Let's
that
say, hold on, shut up. I'm not done. I haven't even made the argument, Swag. I haven't even made the argument.
No, you're making.
So I'm going to finish the argument before you start filibustering again. I get it, you're getting upset because I'm smacking you the fuck around, but hold on just a second.
See, it's comments like these that were pissing off the Swag goons. This is what, rhetorically, in my opinion, made them hate me.
So, for one, here's your statement. He was overflowing with talent, jutsu, and intelligence, and was socially popular. He was even quite the looker, just like me. So many things outside power and, like, actual scaling there. You're just talking about, like, an overall narrative sense, I guess. As a shinobi, his capacity was truly a one of a kind. Let's talk about...
When people say Swag won the narrative argument, I'm really wondering, like, what the fuck they're even talking about, because he's getting obliterated on this narrative argument right here.
Talent part that you were referring to. If you're saying that like somebody has a talent for jutsu, that means they're like quick learning, they're like picking shit up quick, they're really good at doing it, and they're showing really like good early signs. Let's say we have a boxer, like a really good boxer.
That was to learn his affinity and shape manipulation.
Freddie Roach is like, yeah, he's got a great talent for boxing, more talent than I've seen of anyone. And then let's say that same boxer dies in a car crash, like the next day. In that situation, that boxer isn't necessarily the best boxer ever. They didn't achieve what they could have achieved. Did they have the talent to do it? That's possible. They did have the talent to do it. I agree Minato had a great talent. It's a shame that he died at 21. That doesn't mean he actually reached the pinnacle of his skill. That doesn't mean he superseded everyone else that existed in the ninja world.
Oh my god.
He was truly one of a kind at the time he was alive. And it's a shame that he's dead now.
Hush mode. Put him on hush mode. Fucking ground and pound. Stop the fight, Herb Dean. Stop the fight. Stop the fight. He didn't have shit to say, bro. He goes silent. Oh, stop the fight, Herb Dean, bro. Split that shit up.
That existed in the ninja world. That just means he was truly one of a kind at the time he was alive. And it's a shame that he's dead now. See the argument? See how that completely fits in the narrative, too? Like, that's a valid interpretation of the narrative, and it's not just you trying to string shit together that doesn't necessarily entail...
I'm not trying to string shit together.
Yes,
okay.
you are.
So, no, because
they look for anything to discredit Madara.
Because you're ignoring, like, you're mixing and matching and ignoring a lot of what's being said here. So,
oh, okay.
I'm mixing and matching. It's so funny he's saying that when he's having to like bring up like a chain link of so many different events that occur in a row that just aren't even connected. Like these, like he's saying I'm stitching shit together. No, bro, you're the one stitching together these irrelevant narrative statements that don't actually inherently prove anything. But yeah. Give me 1 second, boys. Just give me 1 second, boys. I got a phone call. All right, I'm back, boys.
Mostly directly addressing your stand, but okay.
He says, "Oh, come on, everybody pales in comparison to the Fourth Lord." Okay, I think the implication is pretty clear.
Bean's a bad ref. Yeah, he is.
Move on. As a shinobi, his capacity was unparalleled. The honest interpretation of this is that Minato's strong.
The honest interpretation just means that, like, you know, he has like good talent, he has like good intelligence, he's like socially popular, he's good looking, you know. He's just hyped up as like a good person, basically. Like that's basically what it's saying.
He is generally across the board. Just
Swag's a rap, bro. That's I mean, I can explain it more in Discord sometime, John, but like don't take Swag for his face value character. He's not actually a good dude.
sure, yeah, whatever.
Strong.
He was
Doesn't scale him anywhere.
Did a lot of rat shit through the years.
This is a power scaling debate, by the way. You have to scale him somewhere. You can't just say he's vaguely strong.
Why don't? That's not. I mean, what I'm talking about right now, we're hung up on just this really like stupid, fucking like I
agree. Your point's fucking dog
shit. You weren't
shit.
able to answer the question, and you also.
I directly answered it. I addressed it and fucked it up.
Every single general. Oh fuck! Hold on.
There isn't a single statement you've brought out that actually scales him somewhere except maybe that speed statement earlier.
You asked me to post.
This is my fuck up.
Yeah. Okay, you asked me to post every single example.
He said you asked me for evidence for all my shotgun claims.
That I just gave.
W tactic, I'm telling you. That's a good tactic.
I didn't think that we were going to be talking about this this bar or wherever the fuck they are conversation for however long this is. Okay.
Well, I told you that I'm going to address them one by one.
Drop the point. So anyway, talent doesn't have to mean potential. For example,
Might do a second stream later tonight or something. Who knows? I'm probably going to end my stream here in just a second, boys. Got to go do something, so something came up.
And considering everything else that Jiraiya is saying here, I think it's pretty on brand, pretty reasonable to assume that he's saying that, Minato just generally speaking.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and finish it here for now. But this is part 1. We'll do a part 2 later tonight, maybe tomorrow. But yeah, so far, I don't think Swag has like won any arguments. Like you can't say that he lost like for an hour straight and then like he questionably did well on like certain like rhetorical like narrative arguments, like, and then he won the debate because of that. Like, no offense, you can't say that he won because of that. Check chapter 94. Naruto chapter 94. A lot of Swag's argument felt just like pleading to the fans in actual arguments. They were. To be fair, that's what the people want to see. It's like when they ran Power Slap and did band palming. Yeah. Spoiler alert, he doesn't win in part 2 either. Yeah. No, he doesn't win in part 2 either. Doesn't even get a point through, I don't think. He, like, refuses to even answer the question of how the mental world scales to the real world. So he gets bodied on that shit, too. I'm going to have to explain that one in depth to people because they're very dense about it. But, yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'll be back later. I'll see y'all in a bit. Bye-bye.